video, and it starts in 3, 2, 1. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Core. This is Core talking video games and all the stuff around it. My name is Scott Johnson, and I'm here with Bo Shorts and John Jagger. I called you Shorts. I meant Schwartz. Hey, look,
Bo Shorts.
We're gonna.
It'll be the first time.
We got a big show today, including, Bo Shorts have been very busy the last week and a half trying to attain something. He attained it.
Very dirty.
we're gonna get to all of that, and we're gonna understand it better soon. However, I want to start things off today by sharing the results of a poll that I ran today. Well, yesterday, I guess. This is what I did. We'll just say this week. Favorite JRPG ever made was the topic. All right? And people were encouraged to put ones in there they didn't see. So if there was one not on the list, they could go and add theirs to the list, which is tons of you did this. All right? But I don't want to shock anyone. Number one, with 14.7% of the overall vote, Final Fantasy VII.
Sorry, John.
They're wrong. Like, it's fine. People are wrong about things all the time.
Yeah.
Like, just look at the internet. It's full of wrong information. And
Hang on.
here's a bunch of wrong people again.
They're wrong about what their all-time favorite is. It's not the best RPG. The question I'm seeing here is, what's your all-time favorite? It might be a problem with the question, John.
Well,
That's
the
a
question,
good point.
the question
Actually,
is
that's fair.
Right?
I think Bo really has nailed something, because what I would challenge anybody who says Final Fantasy VII to do is explain to me why it should be considered the best JRPG without leaning into nostalgia or talking about the property in general. Like, just talk about the actual game itself.
that game.
But that's not what the question is.
No.
As Bo pointed out, that's not the question. And this question, as written, lives in Nostalgia Town, which is where all those Final Fantasy VII fans live. So maybe I get where the outcome
It
came
makes
from.
me cry when I think about the game. That's why I like it.
You love it. It's your favorite. You voted this way, right?
Touched me. For me, it touched me emotionally. Chrono Trigger was also quite good, though. It's weird saying one is better than the other, because I really liked Chrono Trigger.
Well, you've mentioned the runner-up at 13.04%, about a percentage difference. Chrono Trigger, right up there, and these are two. Yeah. These two got the most votes by double compared to anything behind it. So don't feel bad. Both of your favorite.
Yeah, they did really, really well. The one I'm sad about, maybe, and it got third place, is Final Fantasy VI, which I think so far of the ones I've played, of those old Final Fantasy games, is the best one.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that 6. I mean, it's in third place. It's like complaining about a bronze medal. Shut up.
Yeah, especially when this list has I don't know 100 and something of these, so there's a lot on here. So doing third is pretty good. But I am also a little surprised.
Weird ones.
I'm just surprised because Final Fantasy VI is often at the top of lists for, like a games journalist will do their greatest JRPGs of all time, and that is almost always number one. Once in a while, Chrono Trigger or 7 will beat it, but most of the time, Final Fantasy VI even edges those out.
I'm going to tell you that if you are trying to be objective and not getting in your feelings about when I was a kid and I played the game and it made me so sad. Like, if you are just looking at the game and the gameplay and the art and the whole package as it was, and you're trying to be objective, Final Fantasy VI is better than 7.
No, I don't agree with that.
No. What? Give us.
I think they're both quite good, but I think 7 definitely
rebuttal.
Step up.
But rebuttal, Bo. How would you rebut this in a debate on stage?
Because like the game 7 is just like way more ambitious than 6 in terms of.
No, I don't think so. 6 is attempting to be an open world game before open world games even existed. Like, it's non-linear in a time where almost every game was being linear. Like, you can tackle the dragons early, you can encounter them at a point when they just wreck you. There's an entire second world you go through, seeing the entire world, and you're like, oh, this is great, this is amazing, and then the world literally gets destroyed and you get a whole map all over again. I think it's
that's
mega
pretty good.
ambitious.
I mean, before 7 came out, 6 would have been the answer, but then 7 came out.
So would you still put? So you'd say 7 then 6, Bo, is your order?
Yeah.
Then Chrono Trigger or something else?
I just feel like emotionally, like storytelling, that's when Square really sort of like there was always good storytelling, but when it really sort of at the time they took a game that looked one way and like all the talk was like they spent millions of dollars, probably laughable amount of budget nowadays, but like, and it's on 3 discs and like they amped up like the graphics and the emotionality of the story like tenfold, and to me that's and they never really hit that high note again, unfortunately, as high as that. Like I have other Final Fantasies I like. I quite like 13 to be honest, but it's 7 is just the high note, and certainly the remake has successfully so far outdone itself. I really like the remake.
I'll say this: I think 7 remake has the potential, if it maintains its quality across the next 2 games, to be one of, if not my favorite Final Fantasy.
Oh my gosh, of all time. Damn.
I guess what it is like I think about how memorable they are. Like I played lots of Final Fantasy 3 and thought it was amazing. I remember there's a bad guy named Kafka. I remember Sabin has combo inputs for the moves. I barely remember anything about that, but 7 is like stuck with me all my life. Like I didn't need remake to remember a lot of the things that touched me about that game. I think that's why I'd lean that way.
And again, I'm not trying to dispute that, because obviously that's how Bo feels, and it's a lot of it is feelings. But again, that's what I'm talking about. Like I think the reason 6 lives on these lists so high up is because I don't think you need to get into feelings to explain why 6 belongs there.
Sure, 6 is great.
6 is great.
So and people are gonna think I'm being harsh on 7. I actually really like Final Fantasy 7. Like I said, remake has the potential to really elevate it, because remake is fixing what I think is maybe the biggest issues with 7, which is how it looks.
Yeah.
It has not aged well, and the script is not very good. 7 would benefit greatly from a retranslation.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you though, after playing a little 7 here recently, the PS1 original, no remaster, no fancy mods or anything, and albeit it's on a little tiny screen that I'm playing it. Okay, so to keep that in mind, it's not like a television or anything, but there's a real charm, undeniable charm to 7 in its original form.
There's just something. When you talk about the creation of art, and just sometimes everything can't explain why. I guess it can even happen to you as an individual. You can't explain why, but it all just comes together.
Right.
And it almost feels like something was channeled through you rather than you intended it for it to be that impactful or good or whatever.
Sure.
And 7 just feels like that to me.
I'll tell you one thing that I think helps 7 achieve that. I think the soundtrack for 7 is a masterpiece. It was then, it is still now.
Yeah.
It's arguably the best soundtrack to a video game in existence.
Oh, to all video games. Wow, that's a broad statement. Wow.
It's extremely good.
It is good.
Like, not just like a good song or two. And this is in MIDI days when everything sounded like shit. It still was incredibly emotional. Like, now you listen to Remake and you're like, they got a whole full orchestra. It actually almost, the music, it's the same music. Some of it sounds worse than the simplicity of, only having like 16 tracks of MIDI to work with, because they kind of overdo it a little bit. I find with the full-blown orchestra in the remake, a little bit. I'm like, give me precisely the songs. It's fine, but I don't want too much artistic liberty to reinterpreting these songs. I want them exactly as they were. The composer,
Final Fantasy. What is that? Wait, did they put 14 in here?
They did put 14 in here.
Well,
which
that doesn't
I don't
work.
think really qualifies as what you were
asking.
You said
turn-based.
I would have voted for this if it was.
But I put turn-based in the question even. They got whoever.
That's
okay, remember when I said people are wrong about a lot of things, Scott? They couldn't even answer your poll correctly.
Now we're insulting our listeners. Great.
So, for all 19 of you that voted for it, like, this is what I mean when I say people can get real behind some wrong ideas.
Sure.
Like,
And then they vote with that wrong idea sometimes. I think we're learning a real lesson here, actually, about voting.
They didn't pay
how
attention
voting
to the
works.
question, that's for sure. Sorry, 19 people. who
Yeah,
voted
sorry,
for
you
that.
guys. Not turn-based.
although I agree with you, would have been probably my vote if it was just, RPG.
Well, okay, hang on. I've got to rush to the defense again on the
Rush.
question.
Go.
And this is ultimately, sorry, Scott, to be picking apart your question.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you
no,
said
it's really
favorite,
Scott's fault.
favorite turn-based JRPG or JRPG-like game, which
Okay, that's
really
fair.
broadens the
You
category
really-
out.
The reason I did that is there are modern indie games that would fit in that category that play like JRPGs, but they're made by a
Right.
small team in Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Scott closed
Sure.
the door and then threw open the window.
Yeah. So we have to. I think we should issue a retraction on our listeners and voters on that one, because that question.
Because it's
be
true. I
interpreted-
don't know what JRPG like game means. We've
Yeah,
already
it just
had
means
the-
anything Japanesey.
All
So I
right,
mean,
so I
like
should have
Katamari
said-
Damacia or whatever.
I should have
could be
said
included.
favorite turn-based JRPG or turn-based JRPG like game ever. So I should have
How about
added.
this?
My
You
favorite
should have just said,
JRPG-like
what's
game
your
is-
all-time favorite turn-based RPG? The only issue you've run into is that you've labeled it JRPG, which they've already said they don't even
Maybe
like the term
turn-based,
over there.
maybe turn-based RPG made in Japan.
No, but he wants American possibilibilities too.
Yeah, I think
So
there's lots
he
of good
put a
stuff over here.
qualifier on there he just shouldn't have done.
Yeah, that Joey Madura or the Joe Madura, Joey Mads thing. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
That was a really cool turn-based JRPG inspired thing, but it was definitely not made in Japan by Japanese developers. So I was trying to broaden that out and see if we could get some indies that are cool, but
I think they kind of the Japanese. I don't want to speak for all Japanese, and I just heard it briefly, so I can't cite a source. But I remember reading somewhere like maybe in Japan they kind of hate that their games are labeled Japanese.
Yeah, that was
RPGs.
Yoshi P. He said they don't like.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like
they
they're
don't
just
like
making games, and we're all like, look at that weird Japanese.
Yeah, we're
game.
putting a
Like,
qualifier
dude.
on there that for some they read as like inferior.
yeah,
you
but we
know?
don't say J action games or J other games. We
We
just say JRPGs because that's what we call their RPG stylings that have
I
now
mean, we
become.
don't call our games US RPGs, right? Like,
No, Western though. We'll
Yeah.
call them that. To
yeah, I
just
guess so,
differentiate
yeah,
them.
You're right. Yeah.
So to me,
WRPGs
yeah.
in Cincinnati.
Western RPGs are where cowboys level up.
Yeah, that's right. Level up, level up. Anyway, it was a fun poll. My favorite are this one at about 9th, where, by the way, there's almost entirely, like, Square Enix owns this list. It's just huge. Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, all that stuff in here. Final Fantasy Tactics, other stuff they did, including, obviously, Chrono Trigger was a Square joint. But also a few Pokemons, a couple of Personas, and my favorite, sorry, Scott, I've never played a JRPG or JRPG-like game.
I've got another favorite
They
in
don't
this
know.
list too, though, which is the brave soul who put Final Fantasy X-2.
Oh, at the bottom.
And
You
like,
know?
if there's one Final Fantasy I regret not playing and want to play, it's that one.
Mm.
I don't know why or how it missed me. It sounded enticing. You just play as the girls in a girl band doing JRPG shit. That's my understanding. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if that's your favorite JRPG ever, I want to know more. Please write it.
Yeah, please,
Tell us why.
please, because that
That's
first game, 10, not
interesting
10-2,
choice.
but 10, made the top 10. And then 10-2 made the very second to the bottom thing. Now, the only thing
Yeah.
that did worse here was Dragon Quest 6, which I think was
You
only released.
included.
I included
Yeah.
it. And the reason I
And
did is I
got no
played a bit
votes.
of it, and I'll get into why I even touched it earlier. But it's probably the best sounding and looking SNES game I've seen recently. Like, it really was, wow, holy crap, what was the deal here? And then I found out it was never released in the States until some DS release way later. So when it first came out in the 90s, it never even touched US soil, was never localized. So I'm not surprised it's last, because it wasn't here until it was, and then by then nobody cared, I guess. But that game's pretty cool.
No, I'll tell you, there is one other crime on this. Oh no, never mind. I found it. People did vote for it. I was gonna say, it's a crime that nobody put Super Mario RPG on here, but it's there. It's got 8
there.
votes.
Yeah, it did all right. It's up there. These all got pretty spread out. Like Lord of the Rings Third Age. Isn't that
Yeah,
a
I mean, some of them are weird, right? Like, Lord of the Rings Third Age, is that a JRPG? Like,
I guess it's JRPG like, maybe. I don't know. Fantasy Star
I
Online,
never
Blue
played it,
Burst.
so I don't know. So I'm like, I guess so.
I noticed these. So a bunch of people have been telling me to play these Suikoden.
Suikoden, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Sushio.
those are I guess those are Konami joints that I've never heard of. So I played a bit of the first one, and I think that game's pretty cool.
Yeah, the second one is the one that most people will recommend, but it's supposed to be an incredible series.
Yeah, and they're making that's getting remastered on Steam this year sometime.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm going to keep my eye on that because I actually only played a little, but the combat in it is cool as hell. And these PlayStation, the 2D PlayStation stuff, underrated. It's good stuff, man. You know,
Yeah.
It wasn't all bogged down in bad polygons yet, and it still looked good, but it looked like really good, high fidelity animation wise 2D stuff, and it just looked great. Except for some notable exceptions. The PlayStation version of what were the two I tried? Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 7. Not 7, sorry. What am I thinking of? Chrono Trigger and something else. Terrible on there.
Chrono Trigger, the PlayStation version of Chrono Trigger is an abomination.
It's an abysmal piece of shit.
It's one of the worst ports of a video game ever made.
Yeah, I'd heard that prior to checking it out. It's 100% true what you've heard. It's bad.
So remember
Six
when
is bad
Square Enix put Chrono Trigger on Steam and Chrono
Yeah.
Trigger started trending because it was like, oh my God, Square remembered Chrono Trigger was a property and they put it on Steam. And then everybody exploded because they put a mobile version of the game on Steam
Mhm.
and Square had to apologize for it and release a whole bunch of updates just to get people to forgive them. Well, I would take the original version of that over the PlayStation version. It was not good. The PlayStation version is garbage.
There's no reason for it,
nearly unplayable garbage at that.
I agree.
It's
It was
so
a janky.
bad.
It was a janky mess. But I don't understand why. It could have been fine there. It should have been. It should have been great
Should've
there.
been. If you want to play Chrono Trigger and you want to play the best version of Chrono Trigger, the best place to play it is the Nintendo DS version. It's currently, until somebody realizes they like money and releases a pixel remaster of it, the Nintendo DS version is currently the best way to play Chrono Trigger.
I noticed no Chrono Cross was added to this. I've also been dabbling in that.
Chrono Cross is not as beloved. I really like it. It's got an amazing soundtrack. It's got an amazing combat system that I really, really like. But
Yeah, I like the combat.
weird.
Yeah.
And it's people don't like the way it doesn't, and they don't like the way it does connect to Chrono Trigger.
You know, those characters aren't the same and all that stuff. But anyway, there you have it. The results of a poll to kick things off today. I hope you enjoyed it, everyone.
Heated. I'm sure nobody will be mad that I
No. Yeah.
called out.
No
Final
opinions
Fantasy
here
VII.
will
It's
be-
not like it was the one that won the poll or anything.
No, it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to that. That means that's ushering in a new era of our top topic today. The Xbox Showcase stuff. We watched this, John and I, and did a co-stream of it. Bo was, I think, still playing Diablo 4.
I had to miss it, unfortunately. Sorry.
Yeah, we missed you, but we were glad you were hard at work at this thing you were doing. And don't worry, everybody, we're going to dive deep into that thing. I got so many questions. I have mainly my questions is surrounding the final 3 or 4 mobs you had to kill, because
Yeah.
I couldn't
Talk about all of it.
I couldn't believe that shit. Anyway, so Xbox Showcase
Chat room
happened.
has questions. Get them ready too. We can
Exactly. We watched it, we saw it, and we went home. Starfield had their whole thing at the end, but there was other stuff during this. Avowed showed off more. Fable, Like a Dragon sequel, which I didn't know was coming, that got announced. Although I think that was... Hold on, Like a Dragon was actually Game Fest, wasn't it?
No, I think it was the Xbox Showcase.
Shit, I don't remember now. Where was he naked on the beach and hiding his junk
Yeah,
and stuff?
I think the Xbox Showcase.
Oh, that was the Xbox Showcase. I watched your co-stream. So during times where I wasn't streaming, the very relatively short amount of time I wasn't streaming, I was still playing Diablo, and I watched the co-stream on the second screen.
Okay.
So I remember seeing it with you guys.
Like
and you going
typical,
like, what the hell?
typical
You know,
E3 fashion. These all jumble together. I don't
It
remember
was your
shit.
typical reaction to a Yakuza game, which we've done a couple times now. And it's pretty.
Yeah.
You guys liked it. As
I
far as
played a bit.
remember.
I played a bit of that first one this week. In fact, not for the reason that this. It's a whole story. I'll get to that later. Anyway, Hellblade, Forza, all this stuff. They showed all their things. But really, the big thing to talk about here was its in-depth look. Help reinforce what I was already excited about, and really, I have zero things to say about it that are in the complaint department. We'll get to the whole controversy around frame rate in a minute, but curious if John has changed his opinion at all, because you went into that a little bit more skeptical than me at the time.
Yeah, so for people that didn't watch us co-stream it, which that's fine, you probably wanted to hear the show and not us talking about food or whatever topics we decided to get into in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I have been the resident skeptic, as I usually am when it comes to games, because I don't buy in easily on the hype like some people. And and as the resident skeptic, I did not think Starfield looked very good. And so this was a chance to finally get to see more of it than kind of the quick trailers that we've seen. And I will say, the ironic thing is I'm very excited for it. Like,
Yeah.
I thought this was a great showing for this game. It really showed me more about what the game was going to be, what I might want to do in it, which has been kind of my big concern with Starfield from the get-go. It was like, go to space. And I'm like, I can go to space in a lot of video games. Like, there's a lot of space out there. I need to know what I'm doing in space and why I'm out here. And this did a very good job of telling me exactly what I'm doing out there and why I'm out there and the cool things I can do while I'm in space. And so it got me very hyped. It also showed more of the shooting, which we have heard has been reworked. And I think that showed, because previously I thought the combat looked boring as hell and janky. And I don't think it looked like this is going to be the next great first-person shooter released. But I think it looked serviceable to where when you get in a gunfight, you're not going to be like, ugh, I got to do this now.
Yeah.
Like, it actually looked good. I would say, if anything is still a concern for me for this video game, like, probably the easiest way to sum it all up is they showed so much that sounds so exciting and so interesting that I'm worried that it's trying to do too much. Like, there is a part of me that's looking at this and going, there's so much stuff they're doing in this game. It can't all be good, right? Like, some part of this is going to have to be awful. And, I hope that is not the case. Like, my concerns before was, well, sell me on the game. I don't know why I should be interested. Now I'm super interested in everything, and it's just sort of shifted into oh, please be good on all these fronts, because you're promising an awful lot, and I've been promised an awful lot by a lot of games before, and I don't know if it can...
Without giving everything away, you got to find that fine line, right? So you're not spoiling everything or whatever, but you want to get people like John who are on the fence and grab you. And this one grabbed you.
I enjoyed very much what grabbed John, which was being able to board the enemy ships.
Yep. That was the moment for me that was like magic.
You were like, wait, I really want this game all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like,
Suddenly I can
the
board a ship.
sandwiches did a lot too for you, but it was that moment.
It really got me.
I'm
like
really
cheese
glad
whiz.
how much time they spent on true Bethesda RPG shit, like building weird ships that look like robots and being a sandwich thief.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then John just being like, it was really fun. He was the whole time. He's like, I don't know. At least it's not gray anymore. There's colors. It's great.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, oh my god, I can board the enemy ship. Oh,
Yeah. It kind of took a turn after that, didn't it? for
I'm
John?
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing, like, because that's what it comes down to, is like, again, if you say like space is your sandbox, it's like, okay, but what am I gonna do in space? Because, like, in reality, space is boring. Space requires something to be added to it to be interesting. Otherwise, you're just floating up there.
Yeah.
And so telling me like, hey, you see another ship, you can hail them. You can go have lunch on their ship, which I think is something they alluded to with a ship called Grandma for some reason. But anyway, like, you can go have lunch with them on your ship. But you can also get in a dogfight and board them, and immediately, like, Assassin's Creed Black Flag or Odyssey pops into my head. And all those times you just roll up on a ship and just shoot them down and board their boat and take over the ship and do a little piracy. It appealed to me immediately. Maybe my destiny was to be a space pirate.
Maybe there'll be a dark.
Early.
maybe there'll be a Dark Brotherhood equivalent where you can do space assassin missions.
Yeah, dude.
That'd be so cool.
That would
Maybe
be
That'd be
awesome.
so
some
good.
analog to
Mhm.
that. That sounds enticing.
Mhm.
Yep.
And the other part too, I also enjoyed that I think you guys liked is there was that NPC that was voiced very weird, like, "Hey guys, I want to join your ship,"
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then they
the-
show later that you could like off him.
Yeah.
Like you could, he's a patsy. You could just like use him and off him.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so they're gonna let you be a bad person in this game.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's their
did you-
marketing, so
did you
they're
see
not really trying to show how like evil you can be. I guess you know.
Did you
and-
see the
and-
follow up on that though? That's basically they're riffing on a meme because the character from Oblivion is
He's an
that
Oblivion
it's
guy.
that character again. So that guy with the
Yeah.
blonde little squirrely hair and the pointy ears in Oblivion that annoys the shit out of you, they basically recreated that guy in there.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't have a memory of that. But,
That's awesome.
I
They
believe it, but still, like
Yeah.
the fact that you can take somebody who's a living human, you know, in the fiction, like, but he's a person.
a real Tedna.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know. Tedna, you did Tedna dirty.
We did, but
Well, maybe not Tedna, but Badass T. He did. He was. He
alternate
saved you
Tedna.
guys. You guys have to save him. I still think. But anyways.
Yeah,
Nope, he's fine.
yeah, that's canon
He's
now. He's fine.
He's wear something.
For
now.
listeners who
He's
don't
fine.
know, there's a whole history with Tedna, but from an alternate universe, he was Badass T, because he died helping the party,
Yeah.
and but then another version of him came back, saved the party, and they abandoned him in a suit.
Was
cell.
trying to be. He was recovering, and we had pressing matters to attend to. We left him in the care of lycanthropes. It's a weird sentence to say.
Yeah, it wasn't just werewolves. it was
did our
bears and
mission.
rats. Yeah.
And then we had to get out of there quick. It was boom, boom, boom. We didn't have time to go back and get him. He was still napping. It was
All
all.
right, I look
very
forward
quick.
to one of your characters explaining it to him when I eventually reunite him with Badass T somehow, because he is beyond the reach of escape. So you may never see him again. I don't
Well,
know.
if you haven't done a little bit of checking and research, go look up this.
Oh, that's the guy from
Yeah.
Oblivion.
That's the Oblivion guy. It's basically a riff on that, and they tried to even give him pointy hair, which I think is amazing. Anyway, was it even the same actor voice? Oh, it is.
Probably is, yeah.
There it is. It's Craig Setchler lent his voice to a number of Bethesda titles, including that character. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. All right. Where were we? Yeah. The shooting. Let's talk about combat for a second. I was impressed with what I saw. Now, it's hard to say how a game plays until you play it, right? But what that looked like was a million times better than any kind of combat they've done before, like Fallout or anything else. And in Fallout, you kind of had this dice roll happening. They weren't really, it wasn't like a full shooter when you would shoot dudes. You were right. Sometimes you could freeze the screen and say, I want to focus on his leg. And I forgot what that was called, but whatever that method was called.
Bats.
That's right. Bats. This looked like maybe they went down the hall and talked to the Doom guys, They went down there and said, hey, we don't know how to make shooters. You guys want to help us out?
It did look better than the previous ones.
Yeah, it looked a lot better. That stuff looked snappy. The vertical combat looked really fun, being able to jetpack all over the place, different planets, different gravity, having it account for that. All of that looked really fun. So invading bases and other ships for that matter, or any of that stuff where it was like, all right, I'm off the ship and I'm down for some dirty here, just looked really good compared to anything they showed prior to this. So that had me very excited. I was already kind of all in on this game, with the slight thing in my head saying, when it comes out, if it's a little janky on the combat side, I'll live with it. I'll survive. But now I think it might actually be a lot better than that. So that's cool. Any additional thoughts on combat or how all that looked? You
I
guys-
mean, I'm curious where Bo's landing on it because he wasn't there with us, so he hasn't had a chance to say much.
Yeah, you
but
like
I
you
mean,
like Doom, right, Bo? You like the Doom feel of Doom.
I do. I'm definitely, when I play those kinds of games, I like to play sneak. They offered a good sneaky simulator. Just what I have in my head is like, if this game is awesome, the VR mod community can be all over that shit.
That's the first thing you
And
thought about
Bethesda,
that.
if you're listening, I need Starfield VR
Hmm.
ASAP after launch. I don't expect it at launch, but give us the VR version, give us a good one, and that game's going to be mind-blowingly amazing. Space in VR is great.
Yeah, and they've done it. You know, they have a history of adding VR modes or putting out new versions for VR, even if they're janky. So you'll probably get that at some point.
I would hope and love to see it. If not, we may have community mods anyways, even if they don't do it, considering how popular Skyrim VR is.
Sure.
Yes, it looks great. Like, I have complete faith in Bethesda to deliver a quality Bethesda product.
Yeah,
that will be entertaining, and I'm looking forward to it.
My favorite bit of the stream was John saying, I can't remember the exact words, but you basically said, this game, Starfield is not a game or a product. Or how did you say? You did, because somebody in the chat was like, oh, it's like Starfield. And you were like very quick to jump on that and say something.
Oh, the comparison between it and what's its face? The game that's not really
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen,
yeah.
The investment opportunity.
You said one is a game and the other
is an investment opportunity. That was it. Yeah. That was it. That made me laugh my head off. Now, I know, because we've gotten a couple emails about it, there are some Star Citizen people who don't love
every time
that.
Because here's the thing. Every time you tell people, every time you tell people like, hey, Star Citizen isn't real. I know you think you've played it, but you have been given false hope.
Yeah.
And every single time you tell them that, they've screwed up, Scott, and people don't like screwing up.
Yeah.
And people want to look for all sorts of reasons why their screw up isn't a screw up. And they don't want to just say, yeah, I joined a cult. I messed up. They don't have a way out.
They don't. People don't like to admit it when they've made a horrible mistake.
And it's doubly wrong, because I see it in the chat right now, because not only did they make a mistake, but also the thing they want, they still want.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the double whammy of, well, a thing I really want to exist is never going to come out.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Thing number one. And two, I gave them money that I'm never going to really feel fulfilled that I gave.
Well, they have to fulfill it at some point, or else they're under a million different international and federal put you in prison forever the rest of your life laws if they don't deliver on that thing.
Like,
they have to.
All of you, before you write your emails, go ahead, write your email. Yeah. Get the email address all in there. When the game comes out, press send. Scott, you put them all in a folder, and I will personally apologize to every email address when Star Citizen officially releases, if it's good and as promised.
As a video
I don't want to hear about, they released the flight module, the story module's coming later. I don't want to hear it. Like, when that game comes out and is an actual game, and you play it, send your emails, and I will apologize to every single one of you. I don't care if there's 7,000 names to apologize to. I 100% will.
All right, counterpoint Bo, who seemed to have a bit of.
No, I was gonna counterpoint him, but I let him cook.
Yeah,
I let him cook, Jesse. It's fine.
Yeah. So you
know what? I don't like strongly disagree with any of that. I just want, the only thing is still clarification was, like, it's not a huge mistake, it's a small mistake, right? Like, it's not wrong to be a fan of an exciting product, and it's not wrong to be a sucker for someone, for a grifter. You know, it's a small mistake, it's not a huge mistake.
It might be a large mistake if you spent $6,000 on a ship that doesn't
it depends on how much you're in.
Depends how much money you have, I guess. You know, that's, if that $6,000 is, you know, depends how much disposable income you have. Some people, there are people who found spending $100,000 in Diablo Immortal a perfectly reasonable thing to do. So what the hell do we know? But if they couldn't afford it, then yes, I guess it's a huge mistake. But I think even people spend tons of money on golf clubs and all kinds of stuff. If you spent $6,000 on Star Citizen, maybe it's not that big of a deal because you love it. And you do play it. Like, you can log in, like you said, the flight module's in there or whatever. You can do things in there. You're getting some sort of a ride for your money, but that's taking forever. And John's prediction is it won't ever turn into a game. And I mean, what has it been, 10 years?
Let's see. Citizen was announced. I can tell you right now.
When was the first day they opened the doors for money?
Star Citizen opened the doors for money on
Didn't it start on like a Kickstarter? So it was money out the gate.
Yeah,
right?
it was a Kickstarter by Chris Roberts, September 2012.
So 11 years. Now, even the biggest game.
Oh my gosh, they claim they started working on it in 2010. Sorry, there was also that note. They were working on it from 2010, and now we're you guys, we are at 13 years later. How are we doing?
Yeah. So, game development's expensive, and they've gone through rounds of getting money from all kinds of things. Like, there's a problem. We don't know precisely what it is, but someday there'll be a Chris O'Dwyer documentary about it or something.
I hope that'll be
Danny O'Dwyer.
Danny O'Dwyer.
Oh, Danny O'Dwyer.
But you know what? But this is bigger than that. Like, if this goes south in a really catastrophic way, this is Netflix documentary. This is like a big ass problem.
Yeah. Where'd the money go?
And I really like Danny's. They should have him do that. That'd be fine. I'm not saying Danny's not worthy of it.
You know what even didn't get launched? They were like, yo, Star Citizen, big project, gonna take some time. So we're gonna release, what was it called? Like Squadron 42?
Yeah.
With Mark Hamill and Gary Oldman. Where's that mocap, dude? I'm still waiting to play that game. That's also vaporware.
Yeah.
So, and that was intended to be like, okay, while you wait, we're going to release something with the stuff that we have and generate some revenue.
Yeah.
That's not a thing, right?
Yeah, it says right here, Star Citizen. Okay. Squadron 42, single-player game set in the same universe, was initially announced in the Kickstarter as an included campaign, so in the game, but is now intended to be a standalone product and no updates to that. We don't know a thing. That was originally announced like in 20...
I remember there was a news article because they showed screenshots saying like, we'll launch this like ahead of the release of Star Citizen, because Star Citizen, we're doing a lot, boys. There's a lot going on in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, they had the option to do the Warframe thing, which was Warframe like started in beta and then got to an alpha and it's just been updating they could have launched the game years ago in an unfinished state. It's like, we got a certain percentage of this project done. We were hitting launch on this. It's games as a service. It's constantly under development. 12 years. I mean, give me a break, man. Like I wonder what behind closed doors, people who can't speak, like professional game developers,
would love to
who
know.
Can't speak about it, who know this. What is that guy again? I mean,
Chris Roberts. Yeah.
Chris Roberts, who know him by reputation,
right?
Or just laughing, like it's.
I mean, the guy's produced before the freaking Wing Commander, Privateer, Freelancer. These are classic hallmarks of really important space game moments in video games.
I think I get a feeling there's a Moby Dick thing, I guess, like in terms of having released games and with his name on it, like an Hideo Kojima, like an auteur developer.
Sure.
So maybe there's some ego wrapped up in this Moby Dick of like, the game needs to be this, and if it's not perfection, it doesn't get released. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are groaning under the weight of all that, I'm sure.
Oh, they gotta be. Plus, I'd just be, if I was in their financial department, I'd just be like, oh shit. Like $460 million. They've made $460 million. Like, what are you doing?
And I think New Luke said it best, because I keep saying like, you got scammed or tricked and stuff like that, which implies that I think that they're doing something intentionally bad. I don't think that's actually true. I think New Luke said it right when they said Star Citizen is the Fire Festival of games. That's probably more where my head's at, where it's like, it wasn't a way to try and con people out of money. Like, I don't think that's what they did. I think like there was a desire to make this amazing game.
Yeah.
And I think it has lost its way. And I think it has had a very hard time getting back on track. And I personally don't think that there will be a day that they get their ducks in a row and figure it out.
Yeah, you think we're past?
It might happen, and I mean, I already see it in chat. 'Cause let me tell you, if somebody spent money on Star Citizen, they will tell you how happy they are.
Oh, they're stoked
every time you mention it.
Well, yeah, because they bought a ship for $700. They're stoked.
That was the best money they ever spent.
Yeah,
but if people are out there, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. If you bought it and like what exists, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I don't think it's going to come out for realsies.
When this is a $69 game on Steam or Xbox Marketplace or PlayStation Store, then I will eat up whatever crow they want me to eat, and I will call it a video game. But until that day, it's an investment opportunity. This is the weirdest, longest. I mean, how long was Duke Nukem Forever? How long did that take? That was considered that was about 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting past that now. You guys are now the new banner carrier, the torchbearer of the longest development ever of a thing that may never happen. I would love to see it happen. I would love it to see it be awesome. But you know what I saw the other day?
I'd love to see it happen too. These types of games are up my alley. Like, not only might I have to read a bunch of apologies out loud now that I've committed to it on a podcast, but I might get to a point where not only do I have to apologize to a bunch of people for saying their game would never come out, but then I have to play it on top of it. That'd be the double whammy of oops. Yeah. Because, like, I have to say sorry to all these people because, like I said earlier, people don't like to be wrong. I'll be mad as hell if I end up being wrong, but I'll be happy as hell if Star Citizen comes out and is awesome.
Yeah, I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. But the thing is, which brings us back to Starfield. What I saw the other day looked like a really great, nearly finished thing, which I can't say about Star Citizen. You know what I mean? Like I might get the promise of Star Citizen a lot earlier on Game Pass. After all this work and trouble, we're just going to get it in another way. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Starfield untested. Oh, we got to talk about the 30 frames thing real quick. So on Xbox Series X and S, it will be locked at 30. Bethesda's messaging on that was we want the fidelity that you can only get by what we want to show, and if we reduce that, we reduce a lot of what we want to show. So we're not that worked up about it, and it will be a consistent 30. We're not going to do something that drops or dips or whatever. It'll just be solid. And people lost their minds because it's the internet. I don't want to give those guys too much oxygen, but it's still a little disappointing. It's still like, well, I would much rather have 60 plus on there. That'd be nice. But your PC versions will run at whatever your hardware is capable of. So for those of us who can pull 120 on a 4K display or less, you'll be fine. You'll be able to run it the way you want to run it on your PC. Dear PC Master Race, but
it's not a good look.
No,
like personally whether this matters to you or not. Like, it being locked at 30 frames per second, whether or not that impacts you. Whether or not you like it or not. Like I said, you don't have to. People can feel differently about it. We had this talk with Zelda. I think it is a little different in the realm of Xbox because, like I said with Zelda, where it's like, hey, they're kind of used to that.
Yeah.
They don't have the most graphical powerhouse machine in the world. Like 30 frames per second isn't crazy over there. It is a little less common on the Xbox. And I think having one of your big tentpole releases, one of your big pushers for what is it? You want to call it Xbox Live. It's not Game Pass. That's it.
Yeah.
One of your big things. I think that it does look a little bad to say, well, the system isn't powerful enough to do it.
Yeah.
And, whether or not you care, that's up to you. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. And if they just said, look, if this was not a exclusive, if this was, let's say the acquisition never happened, this would definitely be coming to PlayStation 5. And they have said, well, it would be locked at 30 there too. And we have the same problem.
Yeah, it's not a console
wars
issue.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Console power issue.
Right, it's a console thing. And while I'm perfectly happy to play this game on a big TV at 30, it's not really a bother for me. Like, same with Zelda. It's just like, whatever. I'll play it however it is. And if it's a consistent frame rate is my main thing. But I won't have a higher frame rate for this game. But everybody lost their mind.
The console wars stuff.
I hate it. I hate it.
The thing that people need to learn online is that most of us don't actually spend a lot of time thinking about or caring about console wars. And it's just people on Twitter that really seem to care about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, again, if you are at a point where you're like, I don't want to play anything that runs below 60 frames per second, and that's important to you, this probably hurt.
Yeah.
You also are probably more likely to have a PC that can run it, because honestly, if you're at that level, you should get a gaming PC.
Yeah, you
Like,
should already.
let me give you some good advice for your future. If you are a frame rate snob to a degree where you will only play a game at 60 frames per second, you might want to invest in a gaming PC.
Yeah, if that is your minimum requirement for all games forever, you should probably do that if you haven't already. And here's my other complaint about this: is most of the people whining about the 30 frame lock are people that don't even own a console. They're just doing this because they're being pissy and they're being shitheads. And I don't just mean YouTubers looking for clicks, because there was a lot of that going on, but just like regular folks going, these baby boxes can't even do it. It's like, well, then why are you here? What, you have what you need. Go play it there. What is your problem? Aren't you lucky it's coming to both? We now live in an era where, in Microsoft's case, they release simultaneously on PC. That was unheard of before. You can't even get that out of Sony, and you would have had the same frame rate. People are talking about how the demo for Final Fantasy 16 hitches. Supposed to run at 60, but it doesn't. It has problems sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. This is just consoles, man. And they're trying to push the envelope and do what they can, and it's not that big a deal. It's like, just play it or don't.
I mean, I think a strong argument could be made that maybe in kind of a viral tweet was people talking about decade-long development cycles on video games, and how that's just got to be something that's understood about video games these days. Ironically, ties into Star Citizen a little bit.
Yeah, it's like 5 to 10 years, or 5 to 8 years. They said that's the norm. Like there is, and that's for smaller, not smaller, but your average AAA project, 5 to 8 years. I think
and then it's getting bigger.
Yeah,
and like trending in that direction. And I kind of feel like, as an industry, maybe it's time to pump the brakes a little bit. Maybe instead of putting out new, more powerful consoles and then finding a way to push games to an envelope where you trivialize those consoles, keep the graphic quality where those consoles are going to flourish. But we're at this weird thing where you buy a new console and it feels like it's already trying to play catch up with the graphic fidelity that we're pushing out in some of our video games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really... It's weird, and I don't think it's sustainable, and I think it could cause issues down the line.
Well, the truth is, it's always been a problem, but you're right about the difference today is different than the difference when we went from 8-bit to 16-bit, or any of those other eras, Voodoo cards to GeForce cards, like all that. Those are good examples of a very rapid change that everybody was trying to keep up with and press the envelope all the time. But we are at a crescendo right now. The curve is up here, and it's a long curve. No, we're done with the massive jumps. Now we're incremental jumps. And I think you're right. If we could just pull back the reins just a tiny bit. I also have a prediction I think is going to happen. I think within 6 months of the game's release, they'll announce a 60 frame per second performance mode on console for this game.
Probably.
For Starfield.
Like
because they can do it. It can be done. I play a lot of games on there, like the last Valhalla, the last Assassin's Creed. Runs at 30 with full fidelity, has a performance mode that runs at 60. To me, they're not that different from the couch. They look great both ways. So I go with the 60 because I like the smoother experience. There's no reason they couldn't do something like that at some point. I think that takes work, and that's why they're not doing it at launch. But I think maybe a little down the road, you'll get like, guess what? We figured, and they'll spin it. It'll be like, we figured out a way to truly unleash the underhood potential of the series or whatever. And then they'll give you a patch that'll let you run in performance mode.
I think so. Peter Yannick in the chat says John's asking for the impossible, and you're not wrong. Like telling people to slow their roll on graphics for AAA, it's not going to happen. Like to. It's why games come out and you look at them and you go, nobody plays this type of game anymore. Well, it's been in development from a time when people did play that type of game, and I think that it is something that is not sustainable, and that eventually they have to learn to pump the brakes or it crashes, and AAA becomes a few and far between release window sort of thing. We've already kind of lost that weird middle ground between indie and AAA release. Like that's already kind of shrunk to nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel like all that's going to keep happening is AAA is going to keep kind of shifting, whether that's weird monetization practices, fewer and fewer games, until eventually it's just going to dry up.
Yeah, it feels like this is a moment for that to get tested. We'll see how it goes, but it does feel that way. I can't disagree with any of that. Bo, I know you're a big fan of the newer frame rates and the speed at which your PC runs. You're probably just just get a PC guy, right? Is that what you'd say?
Yeah.
Just get a PC.
That's what I would say. Yes.
Yeah. Quit whining, all you console babies, is what you'd say. And this is Bo's words, not mine.
Well,
Send emails to Bo.
I know people like their consoles, and I don't besmirch them that, but honestly, the consoles should probably run at a certain quality, and I think people playing consoles should be mad if they're not.
Well, they should, but what is that? What is
60.
that line? Is it 30? Is it 60? What is it? If it's 60, well then
it's 60.
Okay,
It's
so
60.
if 60 is the standard, then you're basically telling developers you can never do anything that will ever take us past 60 or take us below 60. So tie whatever those ideas are, whatever those are, tie them behind your back. You can't do those. I don't think that happens. It's just not going to happen. Like the devs are going to.
You might have a different hard drive. I might have using different drivers on a network card. Whatever it is, there's a lot of variability. But if you're making a single console, then there should be a standard to which the products on the console live up to, and it should be the same for everyone. So when I'll say I'm making a console called the Bo Box.
Yeah. Tell me
when
more about this product.
When the developer is like, all right, I got a game for your Bo Box, and I play it, and it looks janky, I'm going to say, I can't put this on Bo Box. You need to fix it.
Well, 30 frames per second solid is not janky. It's just 30 frames. It's just
depends. This is what the standard I'm marketing my console at.
Okay.
Like I could sell a console. It's like you get 10 frames per second. People might not buy it, or they might buy it, but that's the that's the product standard. And I think what we've seen with these PlayStations and Xboxes in particular, Switch, I won't fault them for that. Although Nintendo, out of any company, should know better, and their store should not be shite. They're like cutting edge, supreme boxes that, they're sold on their power. And when you use language like that in the zeitgeist of gaming, power is equal to PC. And so we're talking PC standards. It's their fault for not saying expect TV level standards, not power, but they're marketed on the cutting edge technology. It works great.
Well,
and
at the time they released,
shot
yes.
themselves in their own foot when they say we have great machines, buy them, and then release products that could be better.
Yeah, but this has been the standard forever, and I don't mean your standard. I mean the standard of the X or the PlayStation 2. There has never been a more powerful console on the planet than the PlayStation 2. Well, at the moment they said that, maybe that was sort of true.
So here's the difference, Scott. In those days, people gave console the benefit of the doubt because they did look like crappier versions of what you could do on PC. Like the level of expectations isn't there. Now the cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows there's a 2000 series video cards in the consoles. It's basically a PC in a small form factor.
Yeah, but they don't upgrade like me and you. You and I are like, well, I'm going to get a 4090 and put it in here. You got $5,000? Let's do that. Like I'm not saying we're doing that, but the point is like the PC thing is an ongoing concern. Everybody keeps adding to it, building on it. These consoles stay. They tried the mid cycle thing last time. That didn't work out great. And maybe they'll do it again. I doubt it. We're getting close to that if they are, but it sounds like they won't.
Well, and this is also a lot of developers are also not specializing quite as much these days. They're diversifying.
Yeah.
So you can also take your launch game, play it on a PC, and have it look better and compare it to what's on the console.
Right.
Now, if you're a console only version of the game, not that those comparisons don't happen.
Yeah.
So they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, and like it's understandable that people get those lines crossed and get mad about it with these weird expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
that's what I think.
I think the PC version, or the one saving grace here that they're not talking enough about, maybe it's dangerous language, but if I were Microsoft or Bethesda, I would say things like, on the consoles to ensure a consistent experience, we're locking them at 30, but we're unlocked on PC. Like really emphasize that. And be honest about the difference in the the capabilities here. Just say we're unlocked on PC because modern PCs can handle that, and we feel good about that. So we're letting those run at 240, 120, whatever.
Right, but that goes back to what I'm saying, which is that it doesn't sound good for Xbox.
Well, but Xbox,
is it the end of the world that it has a solid 30 frames per second? No, I would much rather play a game with a consistent 30 than an inconsistent trying to force 60.
Yeah.
But at the same time, chat room said it. These consoles at the time that they were being announced were promising shooting for 120.
Yeah.
And now we're getting games coming out on it that are they're oh boy, we locked it at 30. And let me tell you, it's a steady 30. And it is a little disingenuous. It doesn't look good for your console. It makes everybody feel like, oh, so what? Are we at the end of this console generation? Because you can now no longer put games on your own console.
Well, you can.
Should I start saving up for the next Xbox? Because clearly you can't run the shit that you're putting out right now.
Let me say this, because I think it's an important distinction. You're not wrong about any of that, I guess. I would just say that Xbox, by their own marketing, is no longer just buy our box. Their marketing now is play it here, play it there, play it everywhere. And it's no longer the same argument. For Sony, it is still the same argument. So if they have a game come out that's locked at 30, well, you're locked at 30 on the only device you're going to play the game on until they 8 months, a year later, put it on PC or something. But they're in the same exact boat, but they don't have the broader plan. The subscription plan that means streaming, that means PC, that means console also. So I don't know that the emphasis matters as much as it used to. If this was all you had and all you could say was, well, we made a game that can only run at 30, we overdid it. Sorry, everybody, but it's the only place you can play it. We're done. I think that's a much worse scenario than the one they're in, which is stream it, play it, PC it, whatever you want to do. I don't think it's as bad.
I didn't spend $500 to be told, go invest in a gaming PC.
No, you didn't. But what you were told was Game Pass is what sold you. Would you agree with that? Because it's what sold me.
Yes.
I don't want to speak for anybody else. So
for me, but I also think I'm a backwards.
No, it said
I'm a backwards
guys,
to this.
It said 4K and HDR on the box.
Yeah, it does that. It does those
and
things.
I would have assumed 30 frames at 4K and HDR. I'm using neither of those. I'm rocking 1080p. My TV does fit 60 FPS, 60 megahertz, and I don't get it.
Yeah, sure you do. You get a lot of. I don't know if that's true either. And
I played Like a Dragon on it, and it was the frame rate was dropping. There was another game. It was Cyberpunk would drop, and that's understandable in that game in certain spots. The games I played on it were definitely not performing at 60. You could just tell because when I play them on PC.
Well, sure, I get that, and I guess I'm not simping for Microsoft here because I don't actually. Again, to me, it's a bigger issue that's not just theirs. It's just focused on them right now because Starfield has this news around it. But it's the same problem kind of across the board. They're all going to have to deal with it. Nintendo's their own thing, but whatever. I guess what I'm saying is I don't want it to be 30 on consoles. But if we're going to keep pushing the graphics and not doing what John suggests, which I don't actually think is a bad idea. I love the idea of saying, well, does everything have to be every grain of sand? Can we maybe generalize a little more with our presentation? Can it be beautiful without it being photorealistic? Why are we always aiming to have it photorealistic? I don't know why we do that so hard all the time.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah,
I
mean, it doesn't. Yeah,
couldn't Starfield been a little bit more not simplistic but stylistic? So that it's not about every crease and every wrinkle. It's more about the bigger picture in the way Zelda is, or, that's a bad example, but a more stylized approach would have meant they could have done this and done this easily. I run Valhalla at 120 on my TV, 120 frames consistently, but it's in performance mode, which means a loss of some high-res textures and some other stuff, but it still looks really great and runs at a great frame rate. No reason that team couldn't have figured out a way to do that, but they didn't want to let that go. They didn't want to let go every speck of sand, every wrinkle in the suit, every reflection on the eye. And that just feels like a weird compromise. It's well, we're not going to budge. The hardware's certainly not going to budge. So we'll meet it in the middle and say 30 frames at 4K. Now, what I would like them to do is say, hey, 30 frames at 4K, how about 60 frames at 1080p on your TV? Because your TV's 1080p still looks really good on a 4K TV. It looks fine, upscaled. Why couldn't they have done that? I'll bet they could have. I play plenty of PC games that if I run them at a lower resolution, I get my full benefit that I wouldn't get otherwise. So do some of that work. I don't know. I don't know why they're not doing that. Maybe this is just the easiest thing to say and do. I don't know. But
it just seems weird that when we started seeing games for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, everybody and their mother were like, man, games don't look like they're getting that much better. And in the back of my head, you hear that and you're like, yeah, I guess it's not the biggest graphic jump forward, the biggest graphical leap. But then you think, well, at least everything will run better, right? Like, that's the thing that kind of goes off in my head. Because I got to tell you, like, I'm with you. I would much rather run games in performance mode because I don't think the dip in quality is that bad. I tend to play it and go, oh, you know what? This still looks really
great,
good.
yeah.
And now it's running really good.
Phoenix
but
Rising
in the back
was
of
like
my
that.
head, I'm also going, what the hell did I spend all this money on this console for to run it in damn performance mode? Like, what was the point of that then?
Yeah.
And I think what we should be doing is we should have made the graphical peak performance mode.
Mm.
And if our systems can't do better than that and still perform that well, then that's for the next console that comes out.
Mhm.
The next time you collect $500 from me.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way it should be. I understand that's not how it's going to work, and that's not the way it does work, and I'm fighting against the tide here, but like, that's the way it should go, because the promise every time we go to a new console generation, oh, it's going to run so smooth, it's going to run so fast, and then it 30 frames per second, and it's got frame rate issues every console generation.
Yeah.
This is an issue.
Yeah. No, you're right. I remember people complaining that Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4 was locked at 30 or was somewhere like that, and even dipped in places. And PS5 comes out, they port a version of it over to that. Beautiful 120 frame per second experience for me. No issues. 4K, beautiful. No problem. So clearly we're at it, like, you could foresee the Series X2, whatever the dumb shit name they give it, will run this just fine. It'll run at 120 or more, everybody. It'll be great. But this happens every time. I guess that is my big takeaway, is that this always happens. So maybe there's just a new generation of gamers who are finally out of school enough that they can talk out loud on the internet, and they all can be freshly mad at a thing we've all been mad at since the Genesis couldn't do certain things that Super Nintendo didn't do. So it just feels like that again. And so maybe that's where my brain is. I feel like maybe I'm just tired of the same. It's the same thing over and over. There's worthy discussion around it, obviously. We're trying to have some of that here. But it's just the same. It's the same problem, different level, but same problem.
I mean, people will definitely be shitty about things, especially when it comes to PlayStation, Xbox, the Coke and Pepsi, Team Coke, Team Pepsi out, and
right.
The fanboys are at it again. But I know, as someone who elected, rather than to get a 4K monitor, to get 161-ish megahertz monitor, I appreciate when games let me crank the frames versus the resolution.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like, as an Xbox owner, it just it's something I appreciate as frame rate, and it's not something I'm going to get, so I'm not going to be.
Well, you're definitely.
I'm not going to be a dick about it, but I don't have anything nice to say. I'm just like, okay, well, that sucks. I'll buy it on my PC.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm gonna. I'm playing Starfield on my PC. And if I want to sit on the couch and have a minute with it, I can still do that. But like, I remember when they upped the frame rate.
If you buy it on the Xbox Game Store, you have crossplay, maybe that you get the best of both worlds.
Well, Game Pass for sure, but I don't know about maybe if you buy it. I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not sure how that works. I assume a Game Pass game that you just straight up purchase and not have Game Pass for. I think the cross stuff still happens, right? I actually don't know that.
I don't know.
Let me open
I
Xbox.
think that might be a
Kombat.
game-by-game basis, because
that very well
could
could
be.
It
might be, because I know I have Mortal Kombat, for example, and Cyberpunk on, and even Elden Ring, but I don't think I can play them on my Xbox app. Let me check.
You have them on PC.
I can play Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
So that has cross-play, but no Cyberpunk. And no
Cyberpunk definitely works. I'm playing that on 3 different consoles, or 3 different devices: PC, PS5, and an Xbox.
I remember now. I bought it twice. I bought it once on the GOG store, and then I bought it on Xbox.
What I'm saying is that's changed now. They added they added crossplay, not crossplay, cross save, cross progression. So they add that came later.
Unfortunately, I own Cyberpunk on Xbox, and it
Yeah.
is not in my PC store. I'm just have it open now. It's not.
He
there.
means the game.
I mean
not
the game, not the
progress.
store.
He means game ownership.
Yeah, game. Oh, I see what you're saying.
And,
yeah.
and I can confirm that
Yeah.
also doesn't work because when I couldn't get my Steam copy to work, I bought it on Steam. I bought it on the Xbox Microsoft store.
Right.
I already owned it on Xbox back when I wanted to play it and didn't have it in my Xbox library. Refunded it a bunch of places and ended up getting it on GOG.
Right.
And it didn't carry over anywhere. Like,
well, when they added that though, if you enabled it now, like today, I can play it on all these devices and it cross all my saves, all that stuff is saved. What it won't do is purchases don't carry over. So if I bought it on PlayStation, it doesn't mean I own it everywhere else. I still have to buy it somewhere else, but cross progression in the game is all connected now. All the versions.
Yes, that does work because then when
Yeah.
I got it working on GOG, I started playing off my Steam save.
Yeah, same. I did the same thing with my Xbox save.
The saves work, but the purchases do not.
Exactly. And that
But
game,
sometimes they do because I bought Yakuza Like a Dragon
Mhm.
for I bought it through the Microsoft store and I have it on both my Xbox and on PC.
and you can
So
progress back and forth if you want, right?
I think so. I haven't tried it, but I own the game on both sides.
I think you're right about
one purchase and I have it in both places.
I think you're right about the it's a per game basis.
Yeah.
It's not true across the board. The point is though, like in the case of Star Citizen, if you play it, like the Steam, it's already the top seller on Steam, and it's not even out yet. You buy that version. I don't think that has cross progression to any other versions, but I know the Xbox, or if you're playing it on Game Pass, if you're playing that on PC or a console or both, you're going to get cross stuff. But I don't think it connects to the other thing. They'd have to have some other kind of, they'd have to do like the way Cyberpunk did it and add it. And I don't think that's in the plan. Anyway, it's going to be a big deal. And if you spend $100 or whatever the big high-end version is, you'll get 5 days early? Let's see.
Yeah, 5 days early access.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll be not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, you get other stuff. It's not like give us $5 and you get 5 days early, but whether or not you want all that extra stuff, up to you. But yeah, in this case, we talked about how we felt about paying for early access. It's an expensive one.
Yeah, not cheap.
That's for sure.
Not cheap at all. Anyway, it was an interesting event. I recommend people watch it. If you haven't seen our co-stream of it, it's still up on YouTube, youtube.com/Scott Johnson. It's also part of the audio feed. We put it in there for the podcast. So you can get kind of our raw and like at the moment thoughts as well and see what you think. Tell us what you think by sending us texts 801-471-0462 or emails at talktothecore@gmail.com and tell us how you feel about Starfield. Okay. All right. All right. Let's get into the frame rate we're all familiar with. That of Diablo 4 and its beautiful 240 frames per second on my monitor.
Oh, wow.
I'm only getting 60 on my Steam Deck, but it's good enough. Anyway, that's the other funny thing is the Steam Deck subverts so many concepts of what we think about stuff. I know it's portable on a smaller screen, and therefore you can get away with a lot on a lower resolution. But being able to play that game through a translation layer that has to be added to Proton, which is already a translation layer for Windows games, and have that run at 60 in my hands all night makes me wonder why people don't just get a Steam Deck. But anyway, Diablo 4 is what we played this week, of course. Everybody's playing it. I'll just say quickly, I finished the story and I really liked it. John, you and I have had a lot of back and forth about the story. Do you want to say anything about any of that before we throw over to Bo and talk about his epic run to 100? How do you want to do this?
No, because I think we've both kind of said our pieces about it in various places. We talked a little bit on the pre-show about it and all of that. Plus, Bo has not actually, he's played more Diablo than maybe both of us combined, and yet Bo does not know what the story of Diablo 4 is, so we
No.
need not go into it here.
Yeah.
And
That's my project for next week.
So no, I'll just say my bit real quick. I'm playing more Diablo 4. It's been a real problem. I haven't been able to put it down.
Yeah, it's
and
good.
It's really good.
It's good. I'm starting to get. There is a slog in Diablo 4. I do think that there is a bit of an issue in the level 50 to level 70 ramp up as you get to World Tier 4. That's how you know I've been playing a lot of a game, because now I'm into the nickel and dime issues here, where I'm like, there's a bit of a leveling slog. But the problem is that I'm in a weird place where the game is trivially easy on World Tier 3.
Yeah.
Like, there is no hint of danger. I could be hardcore and I would be likely fine, except I keep doing stupid stuff because I'm in no real danger.
Right. I do that too.
Everything is trivially easy.
Yeah.
I did complete the level 70 capstone dungeon at 63 just because I wanted a challenge, and it was a challenge at 63. But trying to play the game regularly on World Tier 4 is a little too hard. I can do certain things, but the challenge is a little too high. I'm 63 or 4
it's a little
now.
too soon for.
Yeah, I mean everything's based around 73.
But your
like
point is
73.
Your point is there's no granularity between 3 and 4. Like, it feels like 3 is too easy, 4 is immediately too hard. You don't have a good middle there.
Yeah, so I'm just in a weird spot because it takes a really long time to level.
Yeah,
like,
but I'll tell you,
we'll get into. It takes a really long time to level.
I'll just tell you, not to diminish your enticement to go further, but World Tier 4 also gets the same trivial, easy, long slog experience.
Yeah.
It's just when you transition, like even at level 70, your gear is one milestone below where you need to be. Like you start getting ancestral items rather than sacred items in World Tier 4. But once you're kitted out with all ancestrals, your overall item level's higher, and the content, you're powerful enough to meet the content, and you'll have the same feeling.
Do you wish that had more scalability to it? Like, you could, I don't know, granular is the right word, but just within 3 or 4, that it felt like it was a little more rampy.
I mean,
I feel like there needs to be a little bit more, because like that's the problem, is you do want that power progression. There's a lot of people that one of their big criticisms about this game is that because everything scales with you, they're worried that you're not going to feel powerful. And I've actually had the opposite issue playing through most of this game. I have felt too strong most of the time. And so I never really felt like I was constantly chasing a dragon of difficulty where it's like, oh, these bats are just super killing me now. Like, it's instead been like, I'm crazy powerful. None of the items are dropping are really great upgrades. Like, I'm into like real small minutia upgrades where it's like, well, this is 0.5% better. I go with that. Like, item upgrades are not super interesting at this stage. So I go through a dungeon and it's go back and, sell or destroy everything because I don't necessarily need any upgrades. There's promises of upgrades on the next world tier, but the next world tier is a little too hard. So it's just grinding to get to the next level. I just feel like there could be a power ramp that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's Ding Desert without
the one way to
free
challenge
play.
yourself is the Nightmare Dungeons.
Oh,
yeah, but that's the problem. Even Nightmare Dungeons, like, I'm doing rank, whatever the highest rank, because I did one that was
rank 20
technically really high, and it said you can't do this on World Tier 3. You have to go to Tier 4 to do it. I was like, okay, so there's a cap. So I'm at the cap for Nightmare Dungeons of what I can do. And even then, like, there's some that are interesting. Like, there's certainly some mechanics in the Nightmare Dungeons where I'm like, whew, that one was a bit more intense.
If you can clear max level Nightmare Dungeons, so you get an XP bonus for everything that's over leveled to you. So if you can efficiently clear the highest level you can efficiently clear is your best XP per hour, so your fastest way to like get to where you want to go, which is like World Tier 4.
I should just start getting in them Nightmare.
You should spam Tier 20 Nightmare Dungeons probably, as long as you can clear it quickly. If it's like a slog, then it's not efficient. So lower to the.
I can race through them pretty quick.
Yeah, if it's like 5 minutes per, then your best option is Nightmare. That's the highest level content. Hellfire Tides, you might be able to get a good XP per hour rate, but they're only come up like once every hour or two.
Yeah.
And arguably, you're probably not getting that much XP because they're only a level or two above you. It's just from sheer volume with movement speed.
Isn't it nice to have a ding desert without a bunch of things to buy currency and shit to get out of it? It feels nice, you know? Everything's got ding deserts, but this doesn't have one that's trying to force me to pay for shit. I kind of like that.
Well, sure, but Diablo 3 didn't want you
I will say, as I will say, as part of like doing this whole race thing, to get to 100, as I went back to my Twitch VODs, and I kept saying 10 days. I actually played for 13 days.
Good Lord. How many total hours do you know that? Is there a /played or something? You could
No, the problem is I think there is, like I said, but like I leave the game client on a lot when I go to have dinner or take smoke breaks or do other things. So it's not really an accurate
Steam.
accounting of my runtime.
Yeah.
But it was close to 2 weeks to level, and I think that's asking a lot.
It's a lot.
It's asking, I think, the leveling up. Like John's feeling that it's taking too long is probably on the nose, because I definitely felt it gets worse, John. It doesn't get better. Like, I don't know why. Part of me is like, I don't know why you're in a rush to have an even longer level slog, because 90 to 100 is a long stretch, and there isn't anything to do but farm repetitive content.
Well, I think the difference is because I know there's another tier of gear that I don't have access to yet.
There's a carrot
so
there,
there will be a point where, and I'm sure it's going to be fairly quick with the rate that you get loot, but there will be a point where I hit world tier 4 and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to replace this. I'll have activity. I know it's going to be a slog, but like I see it right now where it's like, right now it just feels like all I'm doing is grinding, but there is a point where I know I'm going to be doing something again before I go back to grinding. So I'm just looking forward to the next time I'm doing something.
Yeah. Because I will say, like, I got on World Tier 4, I got the gear I could get for my build that I wanted. I got within like 5 to like 75, let's say.
Yeah.
And then it was just like there was uniques or items I was looking for that I just never got. So my build couldn't progress, and it was just swapping in incremental gains, like looking for another max roll imprint or aspect, I should say.
Yeah.
And then trying to find a good god roll on an item and a yellow, and then matching them up. But the god rolls that you look for don't happen all that often.
Yeah, they're rare.
You're doing these little it's incremental gains, and then you're upgrading your glyphs. Nightmare dungeons are important to upgrade the glyphs in the Paragon board.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you don't know about that post 50 Paragon board, everyone at home, you all thought, oh, I kind of like it's a simplified look at Path of Exiles, big giant crazy talent sheet, and you're like, that's fine, I can deal with this. It's just little offshoots, couple little passives on the side, main abilities. You hit 50, you get Path of Exile, like a giant thing, dude. That thing is huge.
What I love about it, though, is that at the beginning of Diablo 4, they ask you, they're like, hey, do you want tooltips on everything? Or do you want tooltips just about new features we've put in this video game? I was like, I've friggin' played Diablo. Just give me tips about new features. I hit 50, that Paragon board opens up, and I'm like, where's the tutorial? And it's like, click to put in a point. Yeah. And I'm like, that's it? I'm looking at this, and that's your tip? Is like, what does all this mean?
It's a
beast. Like, the nice thing is it is intuitive enough, and honestly, I wish they gave you this level of freedom on changing your skills. It's easy enough to like adjust and move things the way you want that like it lets you screw up for a while you figure out how it works.
Yeah.
But like you look at it and you're just like, really? You're not going to explain this to me? You're just going to drop this on my lap and say, go.
Yeah, it looks like math. You just look at it and go, oh, look, there's some math here. I got to figure out. It's crazy. Anyway, not really the point, but all right. Well, I'm in, I'm not hitting that yet, but I will say this: from 0 to 25 on your first alt, because when I finished the story at 45, 46, whatever, or 42, whatever I was, I was a little undertuned for the final fights, but I made it through. So that worked out. And then I thought, well, I just want to go mess around a little. Leave the Necro sitting there for a minute. Let's go see what's up. And I forgot how cool it is that all your account crap moves over. So when I went and started a sorcerer, I had a horse moment one. I just get on my
Yeah.
horse. Let's go.
And all the altars of Lilith, if you got any points from that, like, because when I started my alt, I had 20 skill points, and I have 20 Paragon points waiting for me.
Yeah,
10
they
skill
were just
points and
hanging
20
there.
Paragon points waiting
Yeah,
for me.
that was great.
So the second playthrough, way easier than the first playthrough.
Oh yeah.
Like, if that complaining about the beginning, some classes being undertuned or hard to play on the first campaign playthrough, it won't be a problem for the next characters to play. Like, it's, you know.
And in very short order, I hit like 25, and way less time it took me to hit 25 with the first character.
Yeah. Did you start a new campaign or just do adventure mode?
Just adventure
Because you can
mode.
skip.
Yeah. I just skip it now.
You probably have much better density in the open world, and blah,
Yeah,
blah,
I like that too. I will say this has having experienced a bit of that. That's been a net positive for me, because immediately it's do these quests with blue check mark or blue exclamation points over their heads. You know, basically play it like an MMO a little bit. And I'm geared to that. I feel that just in my bones as a way to play a game like this. So it just immediately matched for me. I was like, all right, talking to Jim Bob, he needs this done. Gonna go do that shit. Oh, I found a dungeon while I was out here. I'll go ahead and clear that while I'm here. Like, it's just a great, that part of it I think feels really good. How that'll all feel when he's 65, different story probably. You know, I don't know.
100 is a slog. 100 is going to take you a lot of time.
Well, let's get to that. So, Bo, you made it. You did it. I have one question to start the whole thing off. You would right now be the most famous person in gaming had you had this gone this way. Bo is fighting. He's nearly, you look like you're about to fall asleep any second. You're 99.9999 whatever, right? You're like 3 stupid demons have to die for you to ding 100. And you almost died.
Oh, yeah. I dramatized that a little bit.
Yeah, but you're fumbling. You brought up the menu by accident.
No. Well,
like...
I was like, so I was on, like, I didn't go to bed that night. Yeah. I had to go to work the next day, so I was trying to hit 100 before my shift. And I was like, I'll get a couple hours sleep. And I was like, I guess I'm not getting any sleep for my shift, because it was taking longer. And then I was hustling, and then I guess I got a call in work telling me I'm going to be a few hours late. I'm like, I am not leaving my PC until I hit 100. Yeah. And I'll explain why that was a thing, but I've been playing long enough. This ends today. Yeah. I do not care about the consequences to my life. I've invested too much time in playing this. Yeah. I'm level 98, 99. This ends today. Yeah. And so, you know, when I even turned off the stream, it was 4 a.m, and I'm like, guys, I just can't stream till all hours of the morning, because I even hadn't called work yet, so I don't want work to like pop into my stream, see that I'm streaming and not at work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I'm going offline now. I'm grinding it out. I'll flip the stream back on when I ding 100. So that's what happened. Is I flipped the stream on. That dungeon I went to was like 5 levels underneath me. There's like level 95. That's why I wasn't too worried. And also, that my barbarian specced out with topaz gems, which provide 50% damage reduction when I get crowd control impaired. So when something like that and I'm frozen, it makes me anxious, but I knew I was going to be fine.
Okay.
I also had two unstoppable procs that were coming off cooldown relatively soon. Yeah. As well as I had a death elixir active as well.
Oh, so you would have survived.
You might see me fumbling there. I did contemplate hitting the scroll of escape. You'll see me bring up the social wheel to hit a scroll of escape.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I quickly, and I'm very tired, so my reaction time was a little all over the place. But I wasn't as worried. I just made a joke, like, I'm like, oh, it'd be really terrible to die 2 seconds before dinging 100, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't playing super carefully at that point, because the content was pretty trivial.
Let me tell you though, had you died there, this is just a split off universe where Bo died right there. After all of that, right? It would have been hardcore sad, but also you would be the top story on Kotaku today. Still, you'd be the top story on every gaming blog, every gaming site. You would be all at the top of Reddit, at least the parts of Reddit that are running. You would have the most popular video on YouTube in the gaming category.
Why would I want my name on those piles of shit and not Lilith? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I understand, but my point is, you could have made a small mint of money during that period of time and really taken advantage of you.
I don't know. I'd rather be a champion.
There you go. That's the
champion
attitude.
first. Yeah. Money can't buy victory. And you know what? Like, I'm proud that all these streamers are like, I can't believe I died to lag. I can't believe I died. Blizzard fixed servers. And I'm like, bitch. I'm nobody, and I made it. So stop your whining for clicks. Like, you know, just grow a pair and start back at level 1 and go.
Bitch.
You know?
I did die
Sorry.
to lag yesterday, but thankfully
It
didn't have
happens.
a
I
lot
lagged out a bunch of
consequences to
times.
me.
You never
I
died.
lagged
You
out a
never
bunch of
died,
times.
obviously.
That's
yeah.
Look, and I was even watching. I can't remember who it was. Who's like, you know, that's why I don't play hardcore games. It's for, you know, it's for silly people. I'm like, no, that's part of the deal. It happens to everyone. It's guaranteed. I've died to lag in Diablo 3. It happens to everyone. Don't let that deter you from playing an awesome game mode.
Right.
Is all I got to say. Is like that happens, and you know, don't be a whiny baby about it. It's
part of the hardcore, right?
The internet. It's a miracle. We get what we get. It's not. Sometimes you go golfing and it rains.
Right.
Sometimes you play a hardcore character. Just go in there knowing it can happen, and you know, be at peace with the fact that you are investing. Like, don't look at it as in like, if I die, it's a wasted time. Look at it as in any second you could die, and it was still worth it because it's about the journey.
Yeah, and don't forget,
get your head right about it, and then it's fine. That's all.
Joel Zimmerman, aka Deadmau5, famously died. His Diablo 3 character, 900 something Paragon, had the character for years. Hardcore character died to lag on stream in front of, I don't know, 4,000 viewers or something. Like, it can happen to the best of you. You should account for these things as part of the hardcore experience. The internet might suck. Your power might go out. Your mom might come in and kick you in the head. You don't know what's out there, right?
Moms, man.
I know, kick you in the head like that. Rough.
You don't grow attached. Like, at this point, I probably tried the Capstone, the Echo of Lilith, which is the level 100 dungeon that's unique, and then might go up to PvP zone and try and eat it into death. You know, I think what they should do at the end of seasons, everyone should take their level 100s and go to PvP and do a last man standing. Like, nobody gets out.
That's a great
Nobody gets out until it's all level 100s, and nobody gets out until there's one remaining.
Don't you think that'd be nothing but, that'd end up just being nothing but barbarians because they're so protection oriented, right? And
I mean, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not esports. Like, who cares? Like, yeah, so like, people get all bent out of shape about which classes are better. It's whatever. It's just a bit of fun. Like, you know. Yeah, you're probably, well, you say that, but classes have their annoying tricks. Like, barbarians are probably take a lot to take down, but they're not invincible. And rogues can conceal and do all kinds of shit. Like, wizards can completely fill the screen with bullshit before you even get close. So I wouldn't make any assumptions about barbarian and their defensiveness.
Also, I like that you mentioned that sometimes it's a bit of fun. John said this before: play the thing that's fun. I was trying out a electro wizard build for the sorcerer, even at these low levels at 25. And everyone was saying, "Oh no, it's the best because you just crowd control like crazy, and you're always spreading lightning everywhere, and everything dies around you. It's just the easiest way to level." And I don't like how it feels. It just feels stupid to me to play that way. So I'm rocking this awesome ice build. F everybody who disagrees with me. I'm still laying waste to fools and winning fights, and it's fun and rad. And he's all ice all the time. Like in Diablo 3, I felt like I had to mix a lot of shit. This game makes it easy to really go into the lore of, I'm an ice wizard. I'm an ice sorcerer. That's what I do. Cold things come out of me all day. And that's how I'm playing now.
Ew.
He's
I was
really
thinking
fun.
about what else might be cold than your icicles. I was like, I shouldn't have thought of that.
Oh, man.
But yeah, no, and I think that you're going to hear a lot of the min-maxers or people are like, you need to build this or build that, but that's for people with ARPG syndrome. This game, I think, provides you with a lot of very good options that are just fine. Also, and this is like pretty much the accepted thing, at least in hardcore it is. I'm pretty sure you should just do this in softcore too. Don't play on World Tier 2. World Tier 2 sucks. It's a harder challenge for 20% more experience. It's like, are you trying to prove something to somebody about what a tough guy you are? Like, it's not like you turn the game into Elden Ring on World Tier 2. If there was like new boss mechanics and reasons to play World Tier 2, then there'd be a reason. It's just they have bigger health pool, they hit you a little harder, and you get a very negligible amount of XP. It's like, I played, World Tier 1's the way to go. I think, to have a more sort of fun Diablo light experience.
I will tell you, as somebody who played starting on World Tier 2 and never went to World Tier 1. I don't even know what it looks like. I did it once on the beta to fight the world boss to make sure I got my beta claw, whatever it was. But other than that, no reason.
Yeah.
Like there's
no
really
reason,
no
yeah.
reason for it. Like
Yeah.
I thought the challenge felt good. Like I thought it felt fine, but I wasn't at like I'm so hardcore. Like it wasn't that. I did not feel like that at all. It just felt like, yeah, okay. This was a challenging experience at times, and then it like
I like
it
that
did
they
on World
provide
Tier
it.
3 got trivial.
I like that
and
they
was
provide it, but
easy.
I just think it's a little weird that it doesn't include, like Diablo 3, torment levels would include an increased chance of epics and legendaries.
And World
all
Tier
that.
3 and 4 actually have added items like new loot tables for items you can't access.
Yeah, see, that makes
in the
sense because when you're playing
Yeah.
at that
and
level,
you're like, oh, it's worth doing it. I
now
wanna
you
fish
do it,
for
right.
cool
But
shit.
early on,
Yeah.
the difference between 1 and 2 not having that made it easy for me to just slide
the,
back to
the,
1.
the player benefit, the difference for players as a benefit is 20% experience.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
So you'll level up through the content faster and be over leveled by the end of the game.
Which I
faster.
still
That
did
sounds like
by the end of the
sounds like
story.
a punishment.
I still over leveled by the end of the content, even
Right,
though-
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's I think they could have just done World Tier 1 and just left it. I think they should remove World Tier 2. I guess what I'm saying, but they probably won't do that.
Well, we'll get more into story as Bo. Your plan is to.
I mean, you guys have questions. You guys had so. Does everyone who listens know what I did? Like,
All right, so let's recount it. You started on core night the day the game came out early. And
7 p.m.
7
Thursday,
p.m.
right at early access launch. I joined the competition to get level 100 in hardcore and get my name on the damn Lilith statue.
Yeah, which I, by the way, thought was
And-
an in-game statue. I've thought this all the way until this week. I thought there was an
No,
in-game
it's
statue.
like a Blizzard HQ thing, I think. Like
Yeah.
out in front of the building, and I'm like, and so some listeners in our core or in the Frog Pants Discord were like, I thought of all people you try, you should definitely do it. People were encouraging me.
Right.
48 hours before, I changed my mind. Because I think the week before in core, I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I need three other players. And then I recruited Sean Obi, Lockvine, and
Ziggurat.
Ziggurat.
Yeah.
Ziggurat, who had no idea what was going on. He just joined.
I
for the
know.
lulz.
Still my favorite story of
Like,
the whole thing.
yeah. And they all eventually died. Now, in my head, you remember on the show, and I have to eat some crow and apologize, maybe to Rod Ferguson a little bit. I called him a fixer and didn't know what he was talking about when it came to competitive Diablo, because they said it's going to take about 150 hours to get level 100.
Yeah.
And I was like, they don't know people with ARPG syndrome. It's going to take 2 days. And so here I was going into this competition like, I got 2 days.
Yeah.
I have a week of vacation from work. I'm just going to spend the first weekend up front doing this hardcore thing, and then we're going to chill. Boy, was I wrong. I don't think we got level 50 until Sunday.
Mm.
And then the real slog began. I mean, it was 8 or 9 days to get from 50 to a level 100. And I was solo at that point because my teammates invariably succumbed to various deaths.
Yeah.
I think I talked about last week. But man, there were times where I was like leveling and thinking, there's that guy. I mean, it's probably happened a couple of times, but there was a guy who played like World of Warcraft for 48 hours straight in an internet cafe and died of a heart attack.
It died.
There was parts where I was like, what if I die doing this? What's gonna like I got you hit like marathon walls and shit. I hit like psychological barriers where I was
Sure.
like, I gotta stop doing this. Like I'm getting anxiety. I'm getting like thoughts of my mortality and like, but here, and this is where I have to leverage my criticism at Blizzard running this event. No problem that you don't have leaderboards in the game yet. I get that not everything's at launch, but put up a freaking blog post with the daily tally of who's hit. Because at day 4 or 5, my brain was like, am I still in contention? Am I not in contention? How much in contention am I?
Yeah.
Can I stop this torture? I would gladly stop and enjoy the rest of my vacation, 5 days, if I knew I was, far away from the contention league.
Mm-hmm.
Or as Ziggurat said, the Aussies say, maybe I was a bee's dick away from being in first place. A great expression, by the way. And he says it, a bee's dick. You're a bee's dick away.
That's That's a new one. I love it though. That's good.
Yeah, I like thinking about a bee's dick because I just think about a stinger, and I'm like, that couldn't possibly be what their dick looks like. That's their stinger.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like they finally on like Thursday or Friday, I think they posted on Facebook like 200 people, less than 200 people qualified, and I was like, I'm still in it, but am I close? I still don't know. I will say an awesome part of the experience though was that when I hit World Tier 4, John, for like 3 whole days, I didn't see another player. I think I was the only one on the World Tier 4 server.
That must have been a
That's
good
Nobody
feeling.
in town, nobody out doing things because it changed. Eventually, I started seeing other players. Not a lot, but there were some other players, and I was like, okay, I think I got here pretty early. Finally, I just was browsing Reddit, thankfully. A wonderful community member used the Blizzard API to make an unofficial list. So you had to sign up. So anyone who didn't sign up wouldn't be tracked on this tracker. But anyone who did, and it gave me the range. I was in about the 200 range at first, but not everyone signed up for it. And so to enter the contest, you have to do a tweet with the hashtag Diablo4Hardcore.
Yeah.
And so what he was also doing was any tweets that came out claiming someone finished, he would also add it to the list. So that kind of pushed me down. If there's like 100 players that weren't on the leaderboard, it pushed me down to about 300. And yeah.
Oh, yeah. People are pointing out the official Twitter they are now doing it. The official Twitter, this just in an hour ago, Diablo on Twitter said 291 heroes secured their place on a shrine to Lilith.
That's
Damn.
it.
Damn,
they
dude.
said for your entry to be valid, you must share the following: hashtag Diablo4Hardcore, your Battle.net ID, and photo/video proof of you reaching level 100 on hardcore mode, and then a link to full rules. And then they said they'll be sharing the list of qualified Battle.net IDs later.
Oh, you're in the
Okay.
200 range? That's awesome, dude.
So right now, as of an hour ago, 291.
Holy shit.
Should I make a hardcore character?
Well, so here's the thing: I don't like. I think these are validated because if you go to d4armory.io, all right, that leaderboard lists like 500
Yeah.
that have finished. Now some are disqualified because they're already they were in the early access event and they had a head start. But I'm just having a look here, like, because I'm looking at who the cutoff is for level 100s according to that list, which is integrated with Blizzard API. So they're reading the data from Blizzard directly to make these. It's 525 people have reached level 100. So that might be have reached level 100 and also done the tweet. I also, by the way, was like, I'm worried about that because I think I did the tweet correctly. I shared the following: Diablo4Hardcore. I put my Battle.net ID, and I have a photo and video proof of reaching a level 100. But
Do you
I'm
worry?
still anxious that I didn't do the tweet right. Like, I'm
Right.
sitting
You
here.
did all the things, man. You did it. Your
Now,
stream's there.
I think I'm okay because Adam Fletcher, who's the community lead, liked my tweet, as did, by the way, like 3,000 other people.
Yeah,
almost.
you had a moment there on that tweet.
That's my
tweet.
most viral tweet.
Teat, your most viral teat.
Tell us about your most viral tweets.
My most viral tweet. It was viewed 366,000 times, and it got 2,798 likes. Like, I've never got a tweet with that much engagement in my life.
That's amazing. Nicely done.
And so I know Adam Fletcher, the community manager, liked it, and a few Diablo devs. So I'm sure people saw it.
That
but
tells
I-
me you're safe. I think you're okay.
Yeah, I DM'd the Diablo account, and I was just like, "Can you just confirm that I did the tweet right? Like, sorry to trouble you, but just give me, please."
Yeah, you
I
wanna
feel
make
I have a
sure.
little bit of anxiety. I'm going to get missed.
Yeah, you don't want that after because I would too
I really
after
wish.
all that.
I really
you know?
wish they would share the list now. It's like I'm like we'll share the list at a later date, and I'm like, oh, I hope it doesn't go badly.
Well, here's the thing: they're doing the online stuff so that you are going through a process that makes the game get talked about and people click on. They know on server levels who did it and who didn't. They already know this, so you're safe
But I'm
no matter
shocked. That's 709 nameplates remain. Like I am shocked to hear that it's that high. I would think maybe only 500 remain. But I have contemplated. I'm like, oh, it's a good thing I'm back at work. I have a bit of FOMO. I kind of want to do it a second time and see if I can
Don't
beat
do
other
it.
people.
You
Get
can't
on
do
there
that.
twice, man.
Oh
Do it.
my
That's why I
gosh.
started a second hardcore character. I got a rogue now, and I'm like,
Be the
listen,
only person who's on there 2 times.
Yeah.
I think
would
there's
be-
already someone I think that's done twice. Woody Joe, the guy who was first, I think has already got a second. character up
Really?
to 100.
That
Yeah.
guy's in. What's his deal? My gosh, dude.
Some people are and here's the fun thing I learned about this competition, because they are nerfed. There's been like 10 patches since launch.
Yeah.
And these players are highly motivated to find. We won't use the exploit word,
No.
right?
no.
But to find the
E-word.
lootiest
Extraordinarily optimal methods.
Exactly. And, so Shrine of Eridu or Enkidu or something like that had a really dense and short dungeon that was being spammed over and over again. That got nerfed. There was another dungeon, Guardian's Repose, something like that, or Crusader's Rest, or something like that. There's one that was farmable with 3 people super efficiently that had an XP nerf. Like, they are kiboshing, to prepare for Season 1, any highly exploitable dungeon routes right now. And this contest is a way of motivating people to it's basically a hackathon.
I think that's 100% true. I think you're absolutely right.
It's kind of funny. I was like, oh, they're just like, they put this carrot out. It's not it costs money to make a statue, but they're not giving cash prizes. But they're put a little carrot out to get highly motivated people to break the game from an XP farm standpoint, so that they can sell their battle pass safely on the first one without having any XP exploits. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty clever.
Yeah,
Pretty
they're
clever.
basically doing additional testing here. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And you're
but,
helping
it's still
them.
worth it. I want my name on a statue, and that way, like, whenever I interact with Blizzard customer service, I could be like, I want a Lilith statue, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're gonna
Hey,
expedite my
I'm a
concern,
Lilith
please.
statue guy.
Yeah.
You've seen my gamer tag every day at work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They've created 1,000 little monsters that are gonna be like, and my feedback is more important.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
my name is on their statue. But
Wow.
I was like, I want that. I want membership in that club. But holy shit, I told my mom, because she was really worried about me.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. Well, if you told
And
your
that
mom
would be the other criticism, which John already kind of laid out. The XP, like, I'm not spending 13 days every season getting to level 100. You can take your game and go somewhere else with that shit. Like, that's a little too long. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a bit much, you guys. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can't
13
imagine.
days
there's
playing
wrong-
18 hours a day, if not more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily hate the idea of a long tail near the end, which is why I kind of focus in on World Tier 4. Like, if you considered that, like, okay, I've hit the top World Tier, this is going to be the best gear at the highest difficulty. It's just a ramp up in levels from here. Like, I'm kind of okay with a slog beyond that, but I feel like it needs to be faster to that then, if that's the case.
Mm.
Like, I feel like if you're still chasing gear pools of quality and gems, like, that's the other thing, is like, I've been sitting on a mountain of gems, and then when I started toying with stuff that was in World Tier 4, I'm like, oh, there's new gem types.
Mhm.
And I guess there's also been a data mined, like, World Tier 5 exists.
Oh, I didn't know
Is
that.
gonna happen. So, like, maybe everything gets pushed down by that. Like, that could be something that happens.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a squash coming. We'll see. Because I don't think they're gonna up the level cap.
There's
But
a
I can
rutabaga
see,
on the way.
yeah, maybe we're gonna get some. Maybe we're gonna get some squash
Sure.
happening.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just think that you did it. You did the most epic possible thing in the last 2 weeks, and as much as it wore you out, and I was actually worried about you for a couple of days there.
I mean, it was worth it, but in the middle of it, it was like actual, I think, psychological torture.
Yeah.
like, for sure.
It's a
Like,
lot, man. And you know
and
what?
It was because I didn't know where I was at. I'm
Yes.
like, I just have to keep playing. I'm in a competition. If I slack off, I'm going to lose. And I've already invested 5 days, and 3 other people helped me get here. And by the way, all the beautiful, wonderful people who have given me, like, I have 500 subs on my channel.
Yeah,
Although
what the
most of them are
frick?
gifted in primes, and they'll fall off next month.
Right.
I've never seen a number that high next to the word subs in my life. I'm like, I'm gonna make like $1,000 off this, and I'm like, well, I can't just give up all the people that gave me money are gonna be like, well, this guy sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I made a commitment. I gotta see it through.
Yeah.
I just would have loved to have known if Blizzard was just send a leaderboard or something. It's just some, so that I can say, like, listen, I definitely lost. Like, I'm behind 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make sure I get a square 8 hours sleep. There was 2 nights I stayed up all night.
Oh
So 48-hour days.
Good Lord.
There were 2 nights
Can't do that.
where I slept for maybe 3 hours. And then there were 2 nights I did like 6. And then I had like 1 8-hour sleep. Like, I am a wreck right now.
Yeah.
And I did that because I'm racing and I just don't know. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just that like sunk cost fallacy. Like, I've invested so much I can't stop now.
Yeah.
That they really should have provided at least some feedback, because once I started to learn the truth, I was like, oh, I could have gotten an 8-hour sleep. Like, there's still 700 spots.
Yeah.
Like, I could have waited till this weekend and secured a spot. I didn't need to do it Tuesday and nearly kill myself internet cafe style. You know what I mean? Like, like that would have been much appreciated for sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to say on the subject of sleep, because while I remember the story, is that at one point I did fall asleep while playing. I was on stream,
No.
and I was in the middle of a dungeon. And I was like, when you're like playing, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to keep my eyes open. I like gotta keep going. And then I'm sure I conked out.
Oh, I've done this.
And I
before,
opened my
too.
eyes. I'm like, I'm still alive. And I'm like, how am I still alive? And then I realized I was still spinning. So I fell asleep, but my finger was still holding down the spin to win
thank
button.
goodness.
And I was like, yeah, okay, this is why I picked this build. I'm still good to go. I didn't even need to be awake to clear the dungeon. I'm pretty sure there's footage of that somewhere on the stream.
Can someone find that, track that down, and send it to us? Because I want to see that.
I mean, it happened so quickly, and I was so tired. I didn't think to mark it or anything. And you might not even be able to tell. I might just be like,
time is funky when you're like that, so who knows?
yeah. So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it happened on stream. But I definitely closed my eyes and like dipped out of consciousness. I don't know, it might have been a second, it might have been minutes, but I know I definitely fell asleep, and I opened my eyes and I was still like spinning and no enemies were around. I was like, and I'm in a nightmare dungeon. I'm just like,
so based on your actual sleep you've had since, do you just dream about this all the time? This game is just in your head constantly?
no, my sleep has been like, I'm out. No dreams, no nothing. Just
Really?
like, I'm so exhausted. I'm just like,
because as much as you played and as little as I've played, all I've done is dream about Diablo. It's all I dream about now.
the biggest impact I've had, besides being sleepy as hell, is I had a sore throat because not only did I play Diablo, Scott, I streamed 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like by day 10, I was like, guys, I just have to stop streaming. I have to play off, like, I have done nothing. I've not enjoyed any VR stuff. I have not like watched YouTube videos or TV.
I was gonna say that
I've
was the
done
funny one that you told
nothing.
me. You're like, I want to watch some
I
stuff.
want to see a show.
And I was like,
Yeah.
when I checked on you, you're like, I want to watch something.
Yeah,
I
I don't
want to
blame
watch
you.
something. Like, I can't just be talking to myself for 10 days straight.
It's like
So I had a
you're like the end of Truman Show. You figured it out. You got to get out of there, right?
yeah,
Everyone's
it's a
looking
little
at me.
too much. Like, if I ever stream full time, it'll be for like 6 to 8 hours a day. Like, I'm not this 18 hours a day every day bullshit is just torture.
Yeah, it's
Especially at 4 in the morning. Like, what kind of content am I giving you except for like,
except
like,
for the
it's
part
so
where
bad.
where you black out and then you don't know how long.
Yeah,
you were
yeah. And then,
out.
but people still had the nerve to be sad. I mean, not nerve, but they're like, "Oh, okay, I guess you're going." I'm like,
Yeah.
please, I have to go.
Oh,
Like,
all right. I guess.
guess
so,
if you're gonna
I guess
stop.
I'll watch nothing now.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I appreciate everyone's viewership and stuff. It's just funny, to feel that way. Like, okay, guys, like, I can't stream. So for the last little stretch, I streamed less because I'm like, I just need my sanity.
Yeah.
But I still played,
Yeah.
and yeah.
And you hit it.
Oh, you
I
know
don't-
what?
I don't
This
really
might
wanna
be
do
why
this again.
there's I think I might have figured out why there's a numbers disparity between the Armory and Twitter. It says it's valid. The contest is valid for U.S. residents only.
Oh, shut up. John made that up, Bo.
I did make that up. I can't keep that
Oh
up
my
for
God,
long.
I'm gonna kill
That's
you.
100%
If
fake.
your
I
heart
almost cried.
if your heart skipped a beat right then, like, I don't know what palpitations feel like, but
I'm sorry, Bo. I did. I
okay.
logged in to
It's
make
okay.
sure Canada was applicable.
That would have
before I
been the
made that
ultimate
comment.
hardcore death, right? Like, Yeah, I
Oh
did this,
man, we could still get you on Kotaku for that though. That's pretty
but
funny.
if you did that, one of you would have to marry me.
Bring you into the
I'm not letting
States.
this slide. I
Yeah.
have the heart of a competitor.
No doubt, dude.
We'll consummate and everything. I want that my name on that trophy.
I have the heart of a competitor. Will consummate.
That's the worst Tinder profile I've ever read. I have the heart of a contender. We'll consummate.
We'll consummate this marriage.
Yeah.
Tell Kim.
I'm sorry, Bo.
but
I
gotta
can't
marry-
tell you.
I gotta marry my co-host.
I gotta marry Bo.
Let's divorce. I'll marry my co-host. We'll bang, and then I'll divorce him once he gets his name on the plaque, and we'll resume our marriage.
Yeah, it'll all be fine.
Yeah, they'll
You won't-
understand.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
only a brief.
I debated whether or not I should even make that joke.
It was pretty good, John. I'm glad you did it, but I'm also glad it's not true.
No, I'm glad you did. It was great. I appreciate it. The reason I appreciate it is because it did true psychological damage and not fake psychological damage. It's like it's good. It's good material for the show. If people like that, then I'll live.
Literal psych damage was done today.
I shouldn't dish it out if I can't take it, and I think I can take it. So
That was amazing. Nicely done.
but yeah, great. Well done.
Any other?
Any questions for those listening?
Yeah,
If you wanted to hear about
Or
build or strategy or whatever, that's why I made that core daily.
yeah.
It's all on.
It's
the
good
core
too.
daily,
Yeah.
hour and a half long.
Yeah.
I may
watched
make
it.
more in the future if people are still have questions. I didn't really talk about Hell Tides a lot. I think a lot of the information going out there is kind of wrong because people are finding cheating ways of earning good XP per hour. But I know just strategy mindset and how to calculate your XP rate per 10 minutes. That's how I started to get real good gains. But for the most part, if you want to see that information, there's a video. We don't need to discuss it here on Core. That's
No.
why I save you the trouble of listening to a lecture on that shit.
I think it's totally fine.
So-
And here's the other thing: Core Daily is usually a very short affair. It's just a nice short little blip in
It's
the
not
day.
a minute. It's a daily. That's
a
why
daily.
it's the new tagline.
That's right. But Bo went in there and went hard with an hour and a half, and it's fine. We don't care what the Core Daily as long as it's daily. That's it. So if you
Honestly, I would have posted it to my channel, but I know more people watch Scott's channel, and I wanted people to see it. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to get in front of people who are going to ask the questions. They're going to
Sure.
find your channel before they ever find my channel.
you could do both.
And I like it when I make a Core Daily for you because I feel like I'm giving you a day off.
Oh, you totally
You
saved
know,
me.
I'm just
You
like-
don't even know.
you know, it's like,
You,
I don't do
you
today, it's
saved me
great.
that day because Wednesday was packed with stuff. I was so
Yeah.
busy. I was going to do one, but I was so busy. And you sent that over. I saw your Discord. I went, oh, that's great. I'll do his today and I don't have to think about it. And I can just go throughout my day and not worry
Yeah,
about
so
it.
I feel like I'm always every time I send you one, I'm like, I'm just doing Scott a solid right now.
You really
I
are.
feel good about it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I felt bad that I couldn't do one the week before, but I'm like, well, I'm busy. I'm competing.
Yeah.
I will burn every relationship that I ever had to get my name on the statue. Nothing
Yeah.
else matters.
It was pretty great.
Um,
I watched the whole thing after you sent it and just kind of had it on and listened to it. And there's good stuff in there. If you're playing a barb and you want to, even if you're not doing hardcore, there's some solid shit in there about this game that I don't feel like is out there yet. Like there's not a ton of really solid search for it anytime content around Diablo 4 and its end game or its late game, because end game is a different kind of thing coming up soon. But Bo really went into it there. So if you want some of that stuff, check it out. The Core Daily feed is a separate audio feed. If you want audio version of it, that's up on the site. But if you want the video version, it's on the YouTube channel, frogpants.tv for more. Bo, anything else? Or do we have any other questions for Bo, John? Do you have
yeah,
anything
do you
want to
guys
say?
you had questions?
Anything
Now's the
that,
time. Chat room also said, did they have any questions?
Yeah, do you guys got anything? Did you go do the PvP area at all? I'm guessing no.
I would think
No,
not.
I
That'd be
stayed
dangerous.
far away from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I accidentally PvP'd. I was trying to fill in all the map and I went to a PvP area and I didn't know how flagging worked. And I was running around and I saw a boss monster. I was like, well, I'll fight that.
Yeah.
And some other people showed up and I couldn't attack them. So I was like, well, this is nice. Like, it's apparently something you have to opt into. And so I went and I found another boss monster and I started fighting that. And someone else came running up to me and they started hitting me. And I don't know what was different about the first people and the second person. So I killed the second person. And then I was like, well, I don't want a PvP. And I got out of there, but I have someone's ear. I didn't mean to collect it, but I have an ear in my inventory. I'm like, I guess I just hold on to this forever, and I guess I just have this.
I love that they did the ear thing again. That was a Diablo 1 thing. And I know 2 had it, and I think maybe even 3 did in their little arena thing they did. It wasn't anything major. It wasn't a big part of the game, but keeping that ear in there. I mean, I remember in 96 getting my first ear in Diablo 1 and thinking, holy shit, right here is there's a little ear in my inventory.
An NFT.
Yeah. It felt like so cool back then because it was like, this guy wasn't even in the same country as me, and yet I have his ear.
Non-fungible ears.
It was such a rad feeling. Yeah, that was a cool time. Well, that's awesome.
I did have one other thing to tell you about, but the moment's kind of passed, so I don't know if it's worth saying anymore.
No, say it. Do it. What do you got?
Because we were talking about the fallout of what I experienced. I also experienced like I shit like 16 times yesterday after the marathon. I didn't know that was a thing.
What?
It's like stress, like the release of stress, I guess. Like
You've been holding it all in, is what you're doing, right?
I guess, or something. It was just I was in the shitter every 5 minutes, and I don't know. It's not like I ate an excessive amount all of a sudden or anything like that.
That is weird. I mean, I guess it makes sense though. There's probably somebody in our audience.
I mean, not every 5 minutes, but like every hour, like for
a lot of showers, man.
Yeah, how many? Do you take a shower per shit? Or
I can take a shower at work.
Oh, that's true. Oh, you were shitting at work. Oh, that's trouble.
That's the worst. Yeah, that's.
I know exactly.
Yeah, you don't want that on a normal day. That's crazy. I didn't know. I hadn't heard of that either. But I guess it makes sense.
I didn't know. That's just I don't know what could be there, but definitely I think my body took a toll and it was expressing itself. And
that's probably a good healthy expression, though. You know.
Yeah, I think so.
Like legitimately, you're probably in better shape because of that. Well, all right. I have nothing else to ask. But John, anything you want to throw in on this?
No,
we didn't think
congratulations, man. It's fun checking in, fun watching it.
I fulfilled one of your conditions, die on the show or do it, and I did it.
And you did it.
Well, now I'm pushing him to die too, because I was in his chat yesterday. I was like, hey, you gonna go after that max level Lilith fight now? And I was like, you gotta get on that. People, you gotta tease the Lilith fight now. You gotta set a date and then go fight Lilith, because one way or another, either you now beat the final Lilith fight or you die.
Yeah.
And let everybody tune in. You know, because you kind of, you did what you had to do to get the statue. That was the #1 goal. But like, you know, I all of a sudden was just like, oh, I guess Bo did it, because I just suddenly saw a tweet. And I was like, oh, I guess he did it. So it was just kind of sudden. But now you can build a date, and you can be like, this is the day where I either lose my level 100 or I kill this final fight, and get everybody to show up and let that be your celebration for 100. Get everybody in there to celebrate 100, and then watch you fight Lilith and either lose the character forever or triumph.
Do you have any special attachment to him now that you would never want to leave him? Do you want to keep him as a trophy forever and never touch him again? Like, where do you land?
No. Like, so I mean, like, if you think of seasonal Diablo, like I play a character for a season, I never touch it again.
Yeah.
So they're as good as deleted anyways. So I mean,
yeah, but a hardcore at 100, there's something about.
Same with hardcore. You're kind of done with it. You know what I mean? It's like it's an airplane you're no longer flying in.
Oh,
so you don't
you know
think
what?
about it anymore.
Here's the thing, though. You're gonna have to think about, and John, I think John's right. You absolutely should do this, but wait until it's a done deal on the statue. Wait until they've confirmed
that is true. That's not a bad idea. Don't do it next week.
Just in case.
There is a hall of remembrance, but yeah, okay.
I just don't want them coming at you going, you deleted
it.
That was in the rules.
And I think the achievement marks the date on it.
Because what if they had like some kind of rules in the long text of the rules, which they have? What if there's a little thing in there that says the character cannot be deleted before we?
No. He's not going to delete it.
No, I read them. The contest entry is to do the tweet. I read through the rest of the rules.
You looked through all the rules. Okay. All right.
I read through them. I could probably read them again, like, just to make sure you're putting a lot of doubt in my head. I think I'm okay. I think my defense is going to be Adam Fletcher liked my tweet, so he saw it. So you got your paperwork.
Hit him up if you're not on the statue. Be like, hey man, you like my tweet?
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Give him a poke.
And there's like a third party. This is how obsessed I am with it. I went through, you know, you can click the likes and see who liked the like to see all the people who liked the likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some pretty deep research on that list to see who all the people are, and I know one of them works at a firm that's doing Diablo community, but it's a third party firm. And so I'm like, a lot of you community guys know, and there's senior developers who liked it. So I'm like, please don't forget about me.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah, I feel you on that weird sense of not paranoia, but just that feeling of like I did this right.
That feeling of like that's why I said I put at Diablo team. I hit level 100, and I DM'd the Diablo account saying, should I have not put well in front of Diablo? Did it need to be at Diablo? Can you let me know if I did it right, and if I didn't, can you like? I haven't gotten
checking all
yet.
those boxes, man.
They haven't responded back to me yet.
Oh man.
But I've seen other people who I think qualify who haven't done that, so I think I'm okay.
You're all right.
I think
you're all right.
And
you're fine.
You know,
mine was pretty viral. Like I think the two other big ones I saw who posted that kind of stuff, apart from the Wudijo, was Trainwrecks and Shroud. Was Shroud? No.
Shroud played ARPGs? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Shroud.
Yeah,
Shroud lost a character and then rolled another one. Still hit level 100 before me.
Oh damn! But okay.
They were on that 4-player like smart grind. And I think because I lost my teammates and they had to get back to their lives, like I ended up being solo,
right? Which
took longer, but yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Saw a ghost.
Yep.
I had one other thing to. I'm not gonna complain about it because it's fine, but it is a complaint-worthy thing that happened.
Yeah.
So one of the aspects on my items that gives me a 20x multiplier, based on the amount of primary resource I have, which is a huge multiplier for the type of damage. Friday, 5 days before I hit, that aspect was disabled in game via hotfix, meaning it didn't do anything.
Oh, and you didn't know.
And it's a 20x multiplier, which is like on the back end, so it really does bonkers damage.
Yeah.
And I had been using it all weekend to rush.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then after I hit 100, Adam Fletcher tweets out, okay, we've restored the functionality to this aspect. And I was like, it could have taken me so much less longer if I had my 20x damage. And I didn't even know. I would have switched weapons. I didn't even know it was disabled. And I guess like it's on me for not checking the forums. But I was a little bit like, well, that's unfortunate. like that was really unfortunate. And you didn't label anything in game like not working or something like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was really bad too. I gotta say.
I'll bet. But you still triumphed though.
I still triumphed, which is why I'm not that mad about it, but I might have triumphed 2 days before.
Still on
I'm missing
vacation.
20x damage. I'm doing like 20 times less the damage I could have been, and could have been grinding harder content. So
that's interesting. Well, all right. Well done. You helped not only beta test Endgame, but you rocked it. And you're in the lower percentage tier. Like, I don't know when they finally hit 1,000. I feel like it's going to take a while.
Well, if they're saying 291 players immortalized, like, then I'm in the top, 30% at least, which is kind of nice.
That's really cool. Yeah, I don't think that's anything to scoff at. I just don't know when they hit 1,000. It feels like it's going to take forever.
The one thing I have too, not that I need to find this, I kind of hope it's Bo Schwartz on there and not Gorath, or Gorath Bo Schwartz. I don't know what they're exactly.
I believe they said it was going to be your BattleNet account name,
not your real ID name. That's a bummer.
I thought that's what I mean, that doesn't mean they're doing it, but I believe the terminology I read was to have their battle ID or whatever.
What if the statue guy's like, Schwartz is too long, it's got to be Gorath?
Yeah, see, like the thing is, I don't know. Now that I've done it, a lot of people in my life who don't know much about it, they're like, "Oh, I can't wait to go see the statue." They're like, maybe we'll come to BlizzCon, friends. People who have no business otherwise just want to see my accomplishment. and it's just going to say Gorath, and it's like, well, who's that? You know,
It adds a like weird extra layer where you have to, instead of just being like, look at my name on the statue, you have to be like, look at this name on the statue, and then know that that means me.
Yeah.
Right. And then it seems like less of a immortalization, you know what I mean? So
Sure.
I think they should put real ID name and the user tag personally.
Yeah.
Or just real name. But
that sounds like they're going to put, I'll bet it's, if I had to guess, they're not putting real names on there. But maybe you get to say, maybe you get to request it or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know how much they've thought about this. It feels like they didn't think that hard about it, or they would have had some leaderboards or something to help you out. But
well, I'm hoping they ask like maybe a preference, like do you want your IGN or your real name on the, you know, because I mean my name is not that much longer than my IGN. It should be fine, and they can. It's probably going to be really small on the plaque. It's not like it's, you know, there's 1,000 names. Everything's going to be pretty tiny. So just, you know, but I'd rather just say Bo Schwartz. I can fly there, take a picture of it, and be like, here, I did something with my life.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Call it good.
Immortalized. I just think it's cool that you did it. So well done. Nothing but hats off here.
Thank you, everyone, for all the support and encouragement.
It's no small feat.
It's really more than I expected, honestly, and it's been really flattering.
Well, good. Well done. And all the VODs are up on Twitch. You should put those on YouTube, just the whole full. That'd take forever, though, wouldn't it? Those are huge.
Well, I mean, they can export to YouTube if people just want the raw-ass unedited video on YouTube for some reason.
Put them up there.
They might. May as well.
Look, sometimes people just want to feel like they've got company on in the background. You know, 8-hour stream. They'll be like, I'll just chill with my friend Bo.
Yep. Just me and Bo for 8 hours, killing little
I will get on that as soon as I finish recovering.
Yeah. Can I say one thing about the Lilith fight? No, that's spoilery. Never mind.
You fight Lilith in this game about Lilith?
No, that's obvious. You're gonna do that.
I did the fight. I did the fight. Just didn't see the cutscenes.
Well, yeah, I won't say anything. It's not a story thing. It's more of it's how she looks when you fight her. And
yeah, I fought her. Like I did do that.
Yeah, and there's a reason she. I don't want to. This will totally spoil if I say it, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, if you're already on the, I think this is a spoiler.
Yeah, me.
Somebody who usually says this isn't a spoiler and then spoils stuff. If you're thinking it's a spoiler, definitely veer.
Yeah,
to the side.
I think you're right about that. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Instead, I'm going to tell you some of the other games that we all played. All right, let's do that.
Oh yeah, there's other games.
I played Super Mega Baseball, specifically Super Mega Baseball 4. Which is the fourth in the series, obviously, but it is now published by Electronic Arts.
Oh, and, no!
No, you'd think that'd be
so good.
You'd think that'd be bad, right?
I do typically think that that's bad.
I do
they
too.
Ruin it, or is it still okay?
Let me tell you what happened here, and I'm very pleased about this. First of all, thank you EA for the code. I got a code. Second of all, I've loved all these games.
Do they know that there are 2 other people on this show?
I think they do. It might actually be one of our joint friends up there, but I don't think.
As I'm like, boo, EA, boo! Did they ruin the game? I turn around like, hey, but can you hook me up?
Can you give me some more codes? But do you remember how Dead Space didn't have all the fiddly EA launcher bullshit? You know all that? Yeah, and that was great. It was like, oh, this is nice. You just gave us a video game that I paid for. This is fantastic. This is what big or Mega Baseball, whatever it is. They're not, it's not all entwined with stuff. There's no microtransactions. It is just a game. And if you've played Super Mega Baseball, 1 through 3, you'll know that the effort here is to create kind of a more arcadey, less simmy baseball experience. That's a lot like kind of throwback to the 16-bit era of baseball games, which I am a big fan of that era. I love those games. Ken Griffey Jr. I really liked all the Sega stuff. Just fun baseball games that weren't so up its own butt. Like, you know, the show is a great game, but it's, you know, it's up its own butt. It's up its own butt. It's a serious sim. It does have a fun mode where it kind of cartoonizes it, but this is like, you know, goofy looking characters, big heads, fake team names. They get names like the meatballs of the Baltimore Meatballs or some dumb shit like that. And they've been doing it for all these games, and they're all just really fun to pick up and play, but you can still do big franchise modes and full seasons or just quick games. I really appreciate its ability to say, hey, you just want 3 innings, not 9 innings? How about 3? And you go, yeah, I think for a game that's a little more focused on fun and less on sim, I'd like to just have 3 innings. Thank you very much. Things like that. And it is a very fun baseball game. It always has been. I will say 4, I think in every way, is a nice boost. Some people have said, well, there's just not a lot of different stuff going on here. But I disagree. I think that it feels tighter and the controls are better. I think the graphics have improved. It feels really good to hit home runs. It feels really good to throw somebody out with 3 strikes. It just really nails the fun that baseball can be if you just let it be fun and quit trying to simulate everything. And I'm a big fan. So anyway, nothing but praise from me. Runs great on a Steam Deck. Already supports it fully. So I've been playing that in bed a little bit. You can hit the pitcher in the nuts. So that's cool. If you ever want to hit a pitcher in the nuts, let me tell you, this game has got you.
This is the game for you.
This is the game for you. Really cool ballparks. Like they just showed some in this trailer where there's like a whole, what do you call like Disneyland type thing? What's that called?
Amusement park.
Amusement park.
Theme
Jeez, couldn't think of the name. Theme park. There's like one just like looming over the stadium. These are not real locations. They're made up, but they do have some famous players that come in and be in here. Weirdly, this is that's new for this, and I'm sure this is taking advantage of EA's licensing agreements of some sort. They don't even publish a regular baseball game anymore at EA. This is now their only baseball game that's new. But it's got like Ken Griffey Jr. in it, I think, and some other guy, and I forget their names.
I mean, that's what you want. I mean, that's how EA acquires something and doesn't do what I joked about, which is ruin it. Like, you don't stop them from doing. It's like when they. So here's where that came from.
Yeah.
Like when they acquired the Burnout people.
Yep.
And what that meant was no more Burnout games.
Basically,
and
yeah.
Nothing to replace it. And now it just sucks.
Well,
the world is worse because they got.
I overall agree with you, except their Hot Pursuit remake's real good. We'll just throw that out.
Yeah,
there.
But it's not Burnout.
It's not Burnout, no. None of them are because they're wrecking real cars, and the real cars don't want you to do that.
They just killed the Amazing franchise to make sure there's some winners in there, but a lesser one.
Yeah.
So that's what I didn't want to happen.
I agree.
Sounds like that's not what happened.
No, in this case, they did they basically just let these devs do what they do. And they've improved on the game in every possible way. If you've never dabbled in it, 3 is still on Game Pass, I believe, so you can test out Super Mega Baseball and get the idea there. But I think if you want the tighter experience, this new one's real good, and I really like it. So, yeah, it's a nice throwback. And I'm in the mood for throwbacks because here's the other stuff I did. My Ambernick is getting warm because I'm playing it so much. Not true, but I'm playing it a lot. And I dabbled in I went down one of these rabbit holes Scott goes on once in a while. I went down this hole and played 10 to 15 different classic JRPGs, turn-based JRPGs, which is why I did the poll. It's why I've been thinking about it. I just kind of went nuts. And I know I talked a little bit about this last week, but I played a bunch of them. They include things like Dragon Quest XI, which is newer. That's not classic. That came out in 2018 or 19. But that game is so good. It's such a great game. What is it called? Something of an elusive age? Whatever the subtitle is on, I forget. Echoes of an Elusive Age? Whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Also, Like a Dragon, I dusted off because I wanted to get back into that as well. But
I should play that too. That was really good.
So much fun. It's so good. The move to turn-based for that series, what an amazing... Well, at least for this offshoot series. Although it's based on this sequel announcement, it sounds like they're maybe moving that direction for the mainline stuff, and only spin-offs will be like the old Yakuza's. I don't know. I really like that turn-based, though, so I hope they stick with it. But it's funny. It's weird. In some ways, it's anime as shit, but in the way I like.
Yeah.
It's graphically impressive, but also janky in some ways. Like, it's all that you want. Those Yakuza games are great. But this game in particular... despite a couple of weird choices for some of your companions, like the homeless guy and his powers. But anyway.
Hey, you were talking about Homeless Simulator not too long ago.
That's true. Well, that was called... What was it called? Bum Simulator. They tried to make it old school. Somehow that makes it better to say, like a bum, like back in the old days. See? Yeah, he's a bum. That isn't probably
Bums aren't too offensive.
no hobos and
in
bums.
theory, a bum could have a home, but if he's called homeless, like it's right in the title.
Yeah, and then it becomes too real. But if you call him a hobo, that means he's got magical powers and like special abilities. And so I wish they'd have called it Hobo Simulator because in that game he has magical abilities. He can do all kinds of weird shit. But anyway, so I played a bunch of that. As far as the 90s RPGs go, I landed on playing more Final Fantasy VII. I tried out that Suikoden or whatever it's called, the Konami one. Yeah, that seems cool. I played some.
How do you say it properly, John? Though, is it Suikoden?
Well, I don't know. I'm an American. I was born in Arizona. I can
but you
assure
like
you
some
that I'm not going to say it correctly.
You like some JRPGs? I thought maybe.
I can get closer than Saba. I can say.
I thank you for a correct
Suikoden.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that that's correct, but I can say it with confidence.
Suikoden. It's Suikoden.
I will also. I dabbled a bit in a lot of PlayStation JRPGs, and one in particular was Final Fantasy IX. And the reason I did that is I'd never even seen 9, other than John playing it once. I've just never seen it. And I know it's controversial for some players. Like, they didn't like going from these 2 science fiction epics to this, like, oh, now we're back in the Ghibli-looking characters in the fantasy time. Whatever. People are weird about Final Fantasy shifting gears. But, boy, that game's cool because you just see all the ways they learned how to do this with this pre-rendered mix of pre-rendered and not pre-rendered. It's so much more, like, capable in that way than 7 was. 7 was like an experiment in a lot of ways. And it's memorable and it's awesome and the story's great and everything. But those pre-rendered things, it's a little rough, like old. But 9, they got that shit worked out. It looked real good. So anyway, I played around with that a little bit.
Cinematics in 9 are crazy. It's the first time they used filmmakers to inform on how cinematics should be shot and filmed.
Oh, wow.
Which is why their cinematics in there are really, really epic in scope and nature. Because they actually were using filmmaking techniques instead of just like, oh, it was cinematic. Just throw it together and point a camera at
it. Feels like right around the time, we would get their full movie treatment with Final Fantasy. What was that called? It was a weird movie.
Spirits Within. Yeah,
Spirits Within was only
studio. It was a collaboration between the two.
And that was only a couple years later than these games, and you can tell that influence. That's interesting to hear that because you can tell not only in the pre-rendered stuff, but also just the way they shot angles, the way you would enter and exit buildings, the way you'd move around. It's just really competent, and I enjoyed my time in there. But again, I'm not super deep because I'm just testing all of these. Anyway, at the end of the day, I think where I landed was I want to finish 7, I want to play 6, and I want to play that Sudoku thing, whatever it is. And Dragon Quest XI is great. Boy, talk about a hard to put down Steam Deck game. I didn't get to sleep till way late the other night. Anyway, and then, so finally, so this whole turn-based thing, I ended it on a little game that's new, and it's also built with the engine Bo's been dabbling with in his previous life before Epic 100 Race to 100 happened. But
before he was a professional Diablo player.
Yeah, before Pro Diablo happened to Bo, he was making video games with that Gal Gadot engine. What's it called?
Still, you got it, Gal Gadot.
Gadot, yeah. Whatever.
Still, the Super Lake Run's still in development, guys. Just Do
you see the art that dude made? By the way, we got fan art of a N64 version of your game. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh shit!
Oh, it's so good. You got to check it out. It's in Discord.
Yeah.
Somebody did an N64 version of Super Lake Run.
It's in the core Frog Pants Discord. Let me grab it for you. I'll get you a link. Yeah, here it is. Copy message.
Is it
link
new as of like today, or
it is new as of? I think he posted it today. Yeah. There's the link in our Discord. Do you see this?
What the hell? I didn't see this.
Here, chat, just so our video folks can see. This is crazy.
Oh
he even rendered out a magazine that it was in. Look at this. So there's a
Fun
magazine.
Bobby is the new forever fan but new here. Fun Bobby just made some fan art for Corey yesterday. Thought you got a full magazine. This has to go in the magazine, Taz.
Yeah, Taz, you out there? I haven't heard much about that in a while.
That magazine that we have that we still have to try and publish.
Yep.
This ad's got to make it in.
What I love is he used my art to kind of render out. This guy's got VR on his chest. and everything.
But he's like fully spread eagled with no pants on, and I just don't have genitalia.
Yeah, there's no genitals.
It's astonishingly accurate.
Show me your genitals. Your genitals. Remember that guy? I love that guy.
But yeah, no, this game, look, a core game for core gamers. This is a core game made by Core for core gamers
Oh,
only.
it uses a Smello pack.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, this guy like really went to town. Have you been on a lake? Have you been to a lake recently? Do you even know what goes on in those things? The classic lake run comes to life in 64 glorious bits this summer.
Yep.
No need to go camping this time around, so don't bother with the tent and the toilet paper. Now you can ditch your pants and let loose in the comfort of your own living room.
Yep.
Get in there and show that lake who's boss, or else the fish win.
Yeah. Look at you, dude.
Wow.
And he made a rendered box. It looks just right. He's
This
got...
is incredible,
And that line about
dude.
core gamers, I love this. A core game for core gamers. This is a core game made by Core for core gamers only. Only core gamers apply. Core at the end. I love it.
Oh my god! Wow, holy shit! A lot of effort went into making this box, man.
Can you
it
believe
looks
everything that's come out of you just taking a dump in a lake? Can you believe it?
sick. I thought you were gonna end the sentence there. Can you believe everything that's come out of you?
Oh, somebody says there's 10 hams on the side. I was wondering what's on the side. It's 10 hams.
Oh, shut
That's
up.
a good point. Yeah.
There are 10 hams.
There's 10 hams on the side of the box.
Okay. Here, chat. Let's zoom in. Look at this. Those are hams on the side. Oh, my
Oh
Lord.
my god!
What is with you guys? You're all talented as hell. Let's all make a big project. I don't know what, but let's do it.
Yeah, but get that Taz the man. Get that ad in the magazine.
Hell yeah. Why aren't we doing that?
Super Lake Run.
What's his name again?
64.
Fun
Holy
Bobby
shit,
is his name, and he deserves a
Fun
big...
Bobby. Yeah,
big
does he have
shout
a
out.
Twitter? I'm gonna post these on Twitter, and I'm gonna link. I wanna give him credit.
Yeah, we want to give you cred there, yo. All right. Anyway, so I played a game called Cassette Beasts. All right. You're going to go, what, Scott? What are you doing? Let me tell you about the overwhelmingly positively reviewed Steam game called Cassette Beasts.
Yes.
People really like this game. It's somebody wrote it in that Godot engine. It is Pokemon, but a whole different way of thinking about it. It's a beast collector. It's a creature collector. So whatever that genre is, turn-based combat. But the weird thing is you carry around a Walkman basically with a bunch of cassettes, and the cassettes, when you put a label on them, is a creature that you can transform into, and you get those labels by capturing them out in battle in the world. And you can put additional labels on the same cassette to give that. It's basically like evolutions, is the idea. And when you capture them, instead of throwing it, you don't throw a cassette at a creature and try to capture it. You kind of zap it and like try to suck it in almost Ghostbusters style. And you have a certain percentage of getting them depending on their difficulty and how good your tapes are. And you've got you got these pencils that are used. It's an inventory item to use if you screwed up and didn't catch well. You use a pencil that will rewind the tape and let you try again. Because kids of a certain generation remember rewinding our cassette tapes with a freaking pencil. Anyway, it's all very suggestive regarding like 80s culture and all that. It is a fun-ass little game. And if you like Pokemon shit and that sort of thing and you want to collect them all, this is a winner. I like it a lot. So go check it out.
I've added it to my wish list. I like the look of this.
Game Pass as well, if you want to try it.
Oh, well, maybe I don't have to put it on my wish list.
I ended up buying it. It's on sale right now for it's on sale for 15, and I was thinking, well, for 15, and I can put this on my deck, I would rather do that and not stream it. So I did that. But mileage may vary. It's a good entry price, but you can get it on Steam or Game Pass. It's great, fantastic little indie game. Highly recommend it. Okay, John, let's fly over to you here. You've been messing with the Ambernick as well, yeah?
I did. I installed the Garlic OS on it.
Yep.
And then I remembered, this is so weird that I didn't think about this, Scott. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you've had a similar problem, but I was like, I remember having in this closet behind me a lot more games than what I had originally. And I thought my Ambernick should reflect that I have all these games.
Right.
And so I put the games that were missing
Yeah.
on the Ambernic.
Sure.
I put in a new micro SD and put on the games that I forgot were back there. There's
Sure.
a lot of them.
Sure.
Some well-knowns. I don't know why I wouldn't have thought that I had them, but some well-knowns that just needed to be on there. And so I did that, and I like the Garlic OS a lot better. It looks a lot nicer, but I am glad that you gave a little cheat sheet for what commands do, because all of a sudden, like, I had just gotten used to how the Ambernic worked on the default OS, and then all of a sudden things stopped working that way, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Basically, it's clearly better, but now nothing works the way I expected.
Yeah, that one function key, it basically becomes a shift key in a lot of ways. And the way saves work, loads work, going out to the main menu, save states, all that stuff.
You can turn it off and back on, and it has your progress saved without draining the battery, which was the first thing that happened when I got it that kind of bummed me out as I was playing Castlevania, and I was like, okay, done, hit the button, screen went dark. I was like, all right, it's off. Came back later, it's like, you have no battery. I was like, why don't I have any battery? I haven't been playing it. I haven't touched it. Does this console have no battery? And it's because that little like standby screen off mode, it kept running, I guess. And that's not the case now with this. And you can actually disable it and walk away and then come back and just get right back in the game you were playing.
Yeah, it'll continue. Cool. It'll put you right where you were. There's a bunch of save slots. I mean, it basically uses RetroArch behind it all, which is very fully functional in that regard. But I like the skins. I don't know if you've messed around with skins much, but I have some very cool skins to share if you haven't.
No, I gotta mess with it. Like right now, it doesn't even have the right time. But I was just happy to have all my games on there.
All the games that you have in your closet that you have extracted and created
there.
ROMs of. Yeah. No,
now I'm not gonna get rid of those games now because
no.
I need to show I still own them.
Right. It's like when you rip your copy of Nightmare Before Christmas from DVD, you just got to hang on to that DVD. Same deal. Same idea.
It's under something. It's always under something.
It's a very it's a really cool device. I love it. Dunaway supposedly.
It took so long to do. I had no idea how big those files were going to be. Like in my head, I knew it when I put in, and it didn't need to necessarily be this big, but there was like a sale on it. And I was like, okay, I'll go with this. Which, by the way, Scott, thank you for sending me an SD card reader because I did not have one.
Not a problem. I like that one. That's the one I have. It works real good.
It does. It works great.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I'll just download this and just put these files on. It'll be easy. And then, like, I'm sitting there downloading so many gigabytes. And I was just like, oh, these files take a really long time to download. And then really long time to transfer over. This is not the quick process I thought it was going to be. Because I decided that the best time to do this work was at 2 a.m. I was like, I'll just do this real quick.
Perfect time. Yeah, perfect time to do it. I mean, I have to admit, I cheated a little bit. I had Dunaway workout, Brian Dunaway from Play Retro. He worked out what both discs or what both cards need to be configuration wise, and then just sent me 2 files. So all I had to do was like zip, and bam, it was done. Still took a little while to copy because, there's a ton of game files and these are SD cards and they're,
we own a lot of video games.
Yeah, we have a lot of, we have a huge, I mean, you guys can see there's shelves over there of all this 8-bit, 16-bit era stuff. It's just out of control. So now it's all in this little handheld, very convenient, and I'll keep those in storage. But anyways, that part of it was a little bit easier for me. I didn't have to fiddle with it too much. But that Garlic OS upgrade is, I think, crucial if you really want to get the most out of this device. It's very, very good. And I don't know how updates work. I got to get my head around that. I think you can just basically pop the card in and do an update, but I don't know.
Like my next video, I watched a great video to help me get it all set up. It was, let me see if I can find it real quick because I do want to give proper shout out because I know us talking about it unintentionally, we've sold like 100 of these or something like that. So I might as well give a shout out on how I went about doing the next stage. It's kind of a weird YouTube video series because it was like, I started watching it and I was like, oh, this is an interesting decision. And then I just really liked it. It's Tech Dweeb. How to install Garlic OS in 2 minutes. And the guy really leans into the like, hey, I'm a dweeb. I'm going to show you how to do this. Like he does a voice and everything. And I was like, is this going to get annoying? But it was really great info. It was really well shown. Very clear, very concise.
What's it called?
And,
Dweeb?
it's Tech Dweeb.
Tech
Oh,
Dweeb.
Tech Dweeb.
Star
Tech
Dweeb's a cool
Dweeb.
name. I like Star Dweeb, but yeah, Tech Dweeb.
Star
That'll work.
Dweeb. It was good. So the next one I'm gonna watch is how to do the update. But it's really, really good.
It's
I
really
liked
good,
it.
yeah. Also, you may not know this. I don't know if you know this because I don't think it was on the cheat sheet. But if you press, when you're out in any of the menus, so not in a game, and you press select, you'll notice your battery will change icons. Like you might get a little plus, and then if you hit it again, you get 2 pluses. If you hit it again, you'll go back to neutral or get negatives. And what that is it's setting CPU clock speed for. Sometimes you might want that. Like if it's a really demanding game and you want to get the best possible performance, you get the 2 pluses, and now it'll use max PC. It'll basically overclock the CPU to run those games better. But there are tons of games where they just don't need that kind of juice. So you want to like extend your battery life another 8 hours or something. You knock it down to the 2 minuses for a game that doesn't care, and you're golden. It still plays the same, but you're not using so much of the CPU. It's pretty cool how that works. And that's a garlic thing. Anyway, Thrad, look it up, Google it, guys. Garlic OS is cool. Okay.
Next up,
yeah.
just do a frog wrestling check-in because I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did this week, and I do have video if you want to show it.
I will.
From this week's show.
Yep.
We had a Royal Rumble this week. Got to do that, but the big thing is next Wednesday, twitch.tv/craftlessrogue to get my plug in here.
Yep.
Yeah,
I am doing my first ever, you don't have to pay for it, but we're calling it a pay-per-view. It is going to be a huge, it's going to be free pay-per-view. It's going to be a huge event. We're going to be, normally I do 3, 4, 5 matches max in a streaming session. It's a pretty quick stream overall. But so sorry.
I'm sorry. Dunaway's
it's showing
intro.
Dunaway's entrance, and I love Dunaway's entrance.
It's so
much.
good. It's so energetic. My gosh. Hope he's seen this. Anyway, keep talking.
But anyway,
Super Saiyan now.
it's gonna be 7 matches.
Oh no.
Every title is gonna be on the line.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a new wrestler who Scott knows quite well.
Yep.
That's the only tease I'll give.
Yep.
Every title on the line, possibly the breakup of the core organization, because I don't know if you know this, Scott, but the winner of the Royal Rumble, the number 1 contender for your title, me.
Oh shit.
So
Nerf Jagger. I'm telling you.
yes, it's so I'm coming for that title,
Man.
and we're gonna see how it all goes.
Definitely a pay-per-view event for sure. It's a strong storyline.
Hold on. When did you give Dunaway a power glove? Has that been there the whole time?
That's been the whole time. So the story with Dunaway is that through the power of the power glove, he turns into Super Dunaway. So he comes out in kind of normal clothes.
Yeah.
But now you'll see he's kind of dressed like Mario.
He's like a dark mode Mario.
Yeah. Yeah. So he turns into Super Dunaway with the power glove.
It's so good. It's so good. I love it. All right. So this week is a big moment then.
Who's he fighting there? Who is that?
That's Ben.
That's Ben.
Yeah.
He turns Super Saiyan.
Okay, so Ben is like Thunderball.
When he comes out, he looks like a very nice, helpful person at a GameStop is what he looks like. And then and then you get him in the thing and he turns into freaking Goku.
Yeah, all his clothes blow up except for his socks, which stay intact because look at them. Those things are going to stay intact.
Yeah, for sure.
And he gets the Super Saiyan.
Oh, shit.
Look, here comes Bo.
Bo entered the ring. What?
Yeah.
Is this?
I'm a little bit behind you guys. Hang on.
Why did?
Oh shit!
Why did Bo suddenly appear? Bo.
So that's the nature of the Royal Rumble. So that's what makes the Royal Rumble so fun. Is every 60 seconds a new competitor comes down to the ring. You get thrown over the top rope and you get eliminated. So it's just you go until there's no people left. So
wow,
that's the nature of the match.
This is what I'm learning new things today about wrestling. I never understood. This makes sense to me now. So
the Royal Rumble's fun. Like most people who don't like wrestling will still go, yeah, but we watched the Royal Rumble. Like the Royal Rumble is one of the most fun wrestling matches in existence.
Yeah, and you still have not played this game. Just want to be clear about that.
None. Somebody asked me that yesterday. They're like, John, have you played the game yet? No.
Not at all. There's no.
I've played none of this game.
You've controlled none of these characters, not even once. It's 100% just, here comes a new challenger, and you watch it and commentate, and that's it.
Yep, 90 hours played of this game, and it is 0 of it actually playing a video game.
Garrett's got a real Winter Soldier vibe to him when he's in the ring.
Yeah, kind of Winter Soldier, kind of. I mean, when he's got the coat on, he looks straight out of My Chemical Romance, which was the goal.
That's perfect. Yeah.
He wanted to be the spooky business character, like your Undertaker, Kane.
Sure.
Or he really likes. Garrett doesn't watch a lot of wrestling, but he does know because his wife watches who Darby Allin is.
Yeah.
He really wanted to be based on him, so that's the inspiration for Garrett.
Why? What is Ben's hold you in the crotch thing? Is that a move? What do we got going there?
That's a pretty normal wrestling thing.
Yeah, no, you get him there, you do a little pose, you do a little styling. It's it's a dominant position. You
got the enemy's head in your crotch, and then you go, cheer for me because I've got him all in a submission hold between my thighs.
Oh shit, Tom Merritt enters.
You give him the power bomb from there or something like that.
This is amazing. I love it. So I think this might be the first Wednesday I get to tune in. I've been very busy on my Wednesdays, but this will be the first one. So it sounds like a good one.
No, dude, it's okay. Like people will be watching me stream and they'll be like, John's wrestling's on. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
like they actually they leave. Like it's the hottest ticket when it's airing.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays for sure.
It's amazing.
It's a lot of fun. We're gonna be starting a little early. Normally we start at 5 p.m. Pacific. We're gonna be doing a pre-match, a pay-per-view match at 4:30, and then kind of just chatting up until 5. And
you need to put that on your ad, like free pay-per-view. There's got to be a pay-per-view like logo. Yeah.
Well, now wrestling calls them premium live events because the pay-per-view model hasn't existed for a while, but I just hate that name so much.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Hey, everybody, we're doing a premium live event. It just sounds dumb.
But everyone still calls it pay-per-view, right? Like,
yes, everyone still says pay-per-view, even though it hasn't really been a pay-per-view for years.
But it is still, you're still paying to view, right? Like it's or is it part of
sort of. Like now it's just on Peacock. Like if you want to watch WrestleMania, you just have to have a Peacock.
Yeah, you have a Peacock. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have Peacock and I still haven't used it for that.
What about the old stuff? Is the old stuff still accessible on the back catalog on Peacock?
Yeah, Peacock has the. I don't know. I keep saying Peacock and it just always sounds wrong. Bo just got eliminated. Unfortunately, he was the first one out. There goes Dunaway.
Oh, that's so
but yeah. Anyway, Peacock has all the.
Who's
catalog.
the guy in the pants?
That's Tom Merritt.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, his look changes a lot. He's got like I'm an Irish hotel manager.
Yeah, I gave him. So Tom is in charge of a new faction. He's in charge of the Mod Syndicate, and they have this weird like color theme that I went with for them. So it's like quasi business suits with like really bright colors highlighting it.
I thought he was a detective, but now he looks like he works at a hotel.
Yeah, he kind of does. He looks like a
he's
concierge.
just in charge of it.
Yeah. That's great.
Randy comes to the ring like a chef. Now he looks like he's a butcher in the ring. It's
totally thing. Randy. I associate him with chorizo and telling Scott how he has to try certain foods certain ways.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. And then Ibbott coming in here like a wild man. Totally those pants. Like the second you see his pants.
It was so funny because it just looks like his outfit is I took my shirt off. I'm just wearing my normal but I just have no shirt on.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
It's
so
perfect.
Wait, I just realized I have not come into this fight. Am I in this fight tonight?
No, you're not, because this is just a fight to see who's going to be the #1 contender for your title.
For me. So. And it's you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does end up being me. Yeah, spoilers. I end up winning the thing, which has turned kind of an awkward thing because as the person who runs it, there's definitely like I won and immediately chat was just rigged, going up across the board.
Totally rigged. Yeah. Totally rigged.
It doesn't matter that when I tested the match before the live event, Brian Dunaway won twice in a row. And I was like, okay, well, this seems fine. And I had a plan for anybody to win except me. But sure enough, I won. So that's the way it always goes.
Wow.
The AI is going to do the thing you don't expect.
Yep.
Ben had a fantastic showing, though. He was almost in the final 2, and he was the first one out. So
yep. Look at Grosjean up there with his, or Kyle. Grosjean.
Grosjean.
Grosjean. Wasn't even his character's
no,
name.
it's not
but
even
it
close.
was a good pull.
I love that you remember.
That's what it made me think of. It was like, oh yeah, the Eye of Grosjean came into the ring.
Grosjean, the God
Yeah, I'll
killer.
tune in for that. We got to see if Jorts can hold his own, and or if John's going to take it.
It's going to be exciting. Our opening match, besides the pre-show, is going to be Kyle versus me for the Dragon Beef Championship. I could walk out with 2 belts. I could walk out with no belts.
Oh my God, super rigged, super rigged.
You know, who knows what's going to happen? So you and Bo's tag team titles are up as well.
Yep.
So
yep, it's a big it's a big shift, a big pivotal moment, really, in the Frog Wrestling Championship Rumble.
I need a manager. I need Crofton, the manager.
Oh, and we're going to be crowning our first women's champion.
Oh, sweet.
So that title's going to be available. We're going to be having a match between Dearest Martha and Kristen, who are both 2-1 for win-loss records. So I figured makes sense that they're in contention.
How's Kim and Carter done yet? Have they wrestled yet?
No, I'm working on. But we'll do a core exclusive. I'm working on Carter right now.
Oh, okay,
she's gonna be in the pre-show match.
I mean, is there anybody with sick web skills? I feel like this whole thing needs a website, just like to see. I want to see like all the stats and the pictures.
Oh, I guarantee.
That was the other thing I worked on yesterday. I sent my wife. She's in Tucson right now, and she was working. She was doing her actual job to support her family. And I sent her a text message in the middle of the day, and I said, I need an Excel formula for win-loss ratios.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can you give it to me? And she's like, what do your columns look like? So I explained them to her, and she sent me the Excel formula because I didn't want to be bothered with it. And then I spent the day figuring out win-loss ratios and all of that. I have a 4-tab Excel document with who beat who's won what matches, all of it.
Yeah, we need all those stats, and those need to be put on the website.
I could probably if I had the data, I might probably have what I need for that on the Frog. It'd be frogfans.com/wrestling or something, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Someone will step up.
Not that I want to give Taz work. I mean, it's just volunteer or something, but someone with some skills just to put together like the image with a title or something.
Well, and Taz made the logo that's on everything. I mean, like, I used
he did
the Frog Wrestling logo for everything, and that was Taz who made that.
Yeah, it looks awesome, by the way. And these are all up on your YouTube channel as well. So if you guys are like, wait, I hate VODs, how do I get these? Go to youtube.com.
I mean, it's too much work just to do for a thing that's for fun, but I just like picturing.
Yeah.
Website,
youtube.com/craftlessrogue as well. Go consume it at your.
Has any betting started yet on this stuff?
I mean, there's sort of betting. So Twitch will let you bet channel points. And so we've been betting channel points. Not that you can do anything cool with them, although people have given me some ideas on that. But yeah, we do channel point betting for each match.
Has anybody like approached you from like those sports betting places? They're like, oh shit.
Like,
no,
I doubt it.
They should.
I
will definitely. If you were coming to me with an offer of giving me money,
I have this like fantasy in my head. A year later, after John's doing this, and John is like raking in, $500,000 a month on like royalties from gambling. The whole thing's at a live casino now. You're just going to town.
Just a giant screen.
I just like that people like it. I have people every week. Like my favorite message that I've gotten, and I've gotten versions of this, but someone just said, John, you don't understand how important this has become to me. Like they've gotten so invested in the storyline. They're like, I know it's dumb, but I'm really invested, and I just need you to know how invested I am.
I think
it's like an actually like good product. Like as I watch it, I get it. I'm like, yeah, let me just watch a few minutes of my friend's broadcast. I mean, be a nice thing to do. And then I watch 3 matches, and I'm like, oh, how did you win? I'm like, it's a video game. This is like AI figuring itself out. Why am I like actually thinking that someone's gonna win and it matters?
Well, it's because it's all the people we know. His commentary is amazing. John does really good with
the color commentary is what does it. There's a storyline, a fantasy that you're kind of fulfilling while you do it, and it's incredible.
I've only been able to see the archives. Seeing it live sounds like the jam, so I'm going to be there Wednesday. See how it all goes, especially because my damn title's on the line. Good Lord!
Yeah, twice. You're
the OP character, Scott.
Yeah, I don't know how I got there, but I'll come ready to root for whatever happens to me. How about that? That's what we'll do. Nerf Jagger. Okay.
Pay-per-view.
John, you also
there will be nerfs. I will say that. I'm gonna be nerfing some people.
You also did some speaking of Final Fantasy, we talked a lot about that today. How's something's going on in 14? What's going on over there?
That's 16.
Shit, the demo for 16 and all that. I totally forgot.
Yeah, so I haven't played it yet. So it turns out I was gonna just play the demo. I was like, I'll just play it real quick before core. But the demo for Final Fantasy 16 is the prologue for the game.
2
and
hours.
Progress will carry over to the actual game when it comes out. So it's not something that you go, oh, well, I got to replay through all of this. Like, it will continue. So my plan is that I'm going to stream it because the plan is to stream the entire game. So that is going to be happening next week. Next week is going to be a big Final Fantasy 16 week. I'm going to try and stream all of my time playing that game. I'm going to try and get the demo played early in the week before Frog Wrestling, and then the game comes out on the 22nd. So I got to figure out how to get the PS5 set up to stream and all of that. And we're going to be figuring that out. But by all accounts, that game is phenomenal. It looks great. It's getting an insanely good reception.
Yep.
People are really buzzing about it. I couldn't be more excited. So I'm going to be doing content around that next week.
Yeah, it's enough hot or positive buzz that I'm getting it day one. I'm just gonna get it. Why not? I have a PlayStation 5 just sitting here. Why don't I play it? You know?
I've heard it's awesome.
Yeah, hearing good things. And I know it's, we're talking mainly about a prologue and 2 hours, but people are like, holy shit, this is really good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that played those 2 hours and went, I'm so mad that I have to wait a week to play more.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's almost like a
subcategory
on YouTube and Twitch where people react to it.
You think so? This is Oh, I don't own a PlayStation. I can't play it. Okay.
Yeah, no PS5 for you there.
Enjoy your Final Fantasy 16. I was about to say, you mean I should buy this day and date because it'd probably be a pretty good game to stream. Be a lot of interest.
You'll bring a console home with you if you do. If you go buy it day and date. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Oops.
PC version though is in the works. They've confirmed that, right? We just don't have any kind of timeline.
No, I think they're still being cagey about it.
Oh, I thought that was out.
It's like it was. I think the original announcement said it was also coming to PC, and then that dropped off. And then they've been kind of like, hey, they're like, hey, is it coming out on PC? And they're like, you should buy a PS5 to play it. They're like, well, that doesn't answer the question. That doesn't tell me. So I think we're gonna hear about it at some point after the game has released.
Yep. Well, there you go. Watch for I think it'll happen, but it'll be a bit.
I think it'll happen.
Okay. Bo, anything else do you play this week besides the hardcore D4? No other games? That's it?
Not even any mobile games. Like nothing. Like Heart of a Champion. If I'm awake, I am spending time playing Diablo or doing nothing. So I've literally done nothing else.
Wow. I mean, look, I get it. You committed, and you committed hard.
I barely ate and did what I needed to do to clean myself and all that stuff.
Yeah, just a little.
Every now and then, Bo leans to the side, and Sephiroth's sword looks like he's wearing a weird eye patch.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Okay.
Did your mom ever do like Cartman's mom and come in with like a poop tray or
bathroom?
No, she never did the poop tray thing, but it was a blessing having her around. She definitely made some meals that I wouldn't have been able to make for myself during that time. So
that's great.
I appreciate that from her. And we did like do some groceries. Like I did spend a bit of time doing some life stuff, but at minimum, I'm like, okay, I'm ordering the groceries and I'll bring them up, but you put them away.
Yep.
That kind of thing. Like,
see you, Mom. I'll be in sanctuary for the next foreseeable. Bye.
Well, the funny thing is, it's not a see you, Mom. Like this is my. If you look here, like that's the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm right here. I'm not hidden in some basement or something like that. Like the torture is like plain view.
Right. Yeah.
Like
she got full view of you.
You come into the kitchen and you just see me here going like, but I'm talking to myself because like I'm streaming the whole time too. So it's like I'm not just playing a game. I'm talking to people. Like, oh, that demon almost got me.
Yeah.
I did want to say one other thing, but I can't remember now. It was just like it was funny, but
it's a lot.
Everybody, give Bo a courtesy laugh because he's tired and he can't remember his joke.
No, there
just
was another like thing. I was like, oh, I need to share that, but I forgot it now.
Yeah, you've definitely lost it. But if it comes back, you blurt it out. You were ready for it when you're ready. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that was the. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I wonder if they had a Megan Fox clip waiting for me.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's right.
I probably not. I mean, I think I'm not at that level of, it's the Rikers and the Shrouds and those people who, probably they made one, but
yeah.
she read off people by name, so, and I'm assuming she wasn't there on set because it looked like it was produced, so it had to have been done in advance for certain
names.
streamers and personalities, but I'm like, but maybe, I mean, like maybe some Diablo devs are listening, and maybe they're like, hey, you should put one for Gorath. Well, I did say I wasn't going to play up until 2 days before, so
Yeah.
But still, all that to say is, I wonder if there's like a, in attaining 100, I may not have got to it. You listed all the things that might have happened had I died, earlier, especially just before 100. I wonder if there was a Megan Fox. Probably not, but.
I wonder if they're I swear Blizzard's marketing budget around this game, both pre and post, feels like the national debt level of money. Like, how did they went crazy?
That's why Overwatch 2 campaign mode got canceled. That was all the dev money.
That was the money.
And it doesn't stop. It's been out for 2 weeks, and they're still like, well, we put Diablo on top of a building.
Yeah. Or, oh, look, Lilith is flying through the air in some city in Singapore. Like, it's like, what are we doing? What are you guys doing?
They did a church too. I think they did a display in a church where they made it all hellish. Which, by the way, kudos to that church for letting the demons in. Like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they must have got. See, that's what I'm saying though. I feel like they have got unlimited.
There must be a priest there who really likes to play Diablo, but don't tell the Vatican.
Yeah. It's like Rod Ferguson.
Guys,
Rod Ferguson left his job over at Gears of War, walked in that room and said, I'll take this job under one condition. Bill Gates levels of marketing money. Thank you very much. Sign the line. That's how it feels.
It's June 17th. Nothing's really going on, but Diablo has turned the oceans red.
All oceans are red.
All oceans
red. They just poured red dye number 5 in all the oceans.
But all the oceans. It's like a massive multi-billion-dollar effort to turn it all red. It's just crazy to me.
The smoke you might be seeing in the States, that's not Diablo marketing. Just FYI. That's actually a forest fire in Canada.
That's right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. We've been breathing it in and grooving on it.
It's terrible. Hey, it's bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. We usually have our own, so it's weird having somebody else's to deal with, but whatever.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm kind of proud, but also sad I don't have a Megan Fox clip.
Oh,
I wish we could hear it. I wish they would just privately send it to you anywhere. She's like, "Hey, Gaforth, I guess you overestimated your ability to fight demons."
Hold on a second. Machine Gun Kelly, take the dog out for a second. I'm doing one of these things. Are they still together? I don't know. They might be.
I don't know.
I think so. I don't know.
He sucks. All right. Moving on to
he was never the same after Eminem. Like,
no, that little fight
with that rap battle.
He even changed he kind of changed his genre after that rap battle.
Yeah. He got owned so hard he got blasted into a different genre of music.
He really did. It's really insane. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from this break, we're going to do a Dear Martha, a little bit different today for Dear Martha, so it's kind of exciting. I'm going to see how that is in a second. We'll talk some more about some big stories, quick email, and a mashup this week. Be thinking now who you think used the term full-throated, and we'll tell you what the results of that poll were before we play it. That's all coming up right after this. Quick break. We'll be back in about 5. We'll see you then. All right, everybody go.
If it was a cash prize.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
But no, so
no is the answer. All right, well, let's bring it back here in 3, 2, 1, and we're back, everybody. Thank you for your patience. It's time for us to play a little bit of Dear Martha time. Now, the thing with Dear Martha is normally it's like a Steam review or it's a magazine review from a long time ago or something like that. But John, today you're doing something a little different. You want to set this up at all?
Sure, we're doing something a little different. We're hearkening back to an era where the core podcast featured quality game show content on it, and we're going back to those days. We're gonna do a Dear Martha game show. Bo, Scott, your contestants. Welcome to the first ever Dear Martha game show.
Oh no, I don't know if I'm okay.
Now, Here's
Scott,
how it
you wanna
works.
take
It's
this?
simple. It's not going to take a lot of time. It's going to be easy.
Sorry. I didn't mute my mic.
I
All right.
see Bo reacts to Dear Martha game shows in much the way I react to.
No,
Nick
sorry.
Shepard.
I had to sneeze and I couldn't find my mute button fast enough. I'm sorry.
It's all
listeners.
good. It was a good
So
one.
here are the rules. I'm going to read a Dear Martha review, and then I'm going to name 4 possible games that review was from.
Okay.
You have to guess which game you think the review is from.
Okay.
Okay, using context clues.
Okay. Cool. And I'm gonna. You
All
want
right.
you want the music like we usually do it?
Yeah, once it's time to read the letter. So
Okay.
if everybody's familiar with the rules, I will read the Dear Martha letter.
All right. And do we burst in with like I know, or do we wait till you're done?
No, I'll give you 4 options at the end.
Okay.
You tell
All
me.
right. Here we go.
My dearest Martha, this has to be the most repetitive and awful game to grind. Send drones, repair drones, spend money to repair drones, hope the drones get what you need, buy crap, etc. is just too boring and repetitive. Very boring graphics. I'm sure this is great for some people, but I just found the mundane tasks all the time utterly boring and labor intensive. Too much work, effort for very little reward. This is on my block list. Never to play again. Yours in this life and the next, Core Marine 99.
Okay. Give us our
All right.
4. I have
So
an
there-
idea, but I want to hear the 4.
There's your review. I'm gonna name 4 titles now, and it is a review for one of these games.
Okay.
Your first option is the game Mob Factory.
Okay.
Option 2, Clone Drone in the Danger Zone.
These are all actual games?
These are all probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Option number 3 is Watch Dogs 2.
Okay.
And option number 4, Once Upon a Time.
I want it to be Once Upon a Time, but I don't think it's
Well,
gonna
it might be.
Okay,
The
so
drones.
let's go with Scott first. Which game do you think it's?
I'm gonna say it's the.
If you need me to repeat the options, I will.
Give me the one. What's the Ubisoft one again? It's
Mob Factory,
yeah,
Clone Drone in the Danger Zone,
yeah.
Watch Dogs 2, or Once Upon a Time.
Watch Dogs 2. I'm gonna go with that.
You're gonna say Watch Dogs 2. Okay,
Yeah.
Scott is in for Watch Dogs 2. Bo, which game do you think it's from?
Let's go with Once Upon a Time.
Why not? Why not? Just let it rip. Let it be what it's gonna be.
I'm excited to say we have a winner this week for Dear Martha, the game show.
Wow.
Bo, congratulations.
What?
This is a review for Once Upon a Time.
What?
Do not pull the game up on stream.
Well, wait a minute. What?
Like, can I pull the game up now so I can understand why?
Yeah, I
got
need
it
to
right?
see too. Once upon
Nope, a porn.
a porn. Sorry, a time. Steam.
Well,
Okay.
It's a different game.
So what's the drone bit?
I have no idea.
Ooh, it's on sale right now.
I was looking for funny Steam reviews. I saw a porn game that's usually a nice little nest bed for funny reviews. I saw this and went, this doesn't seem like a review for this game. Let's make a game show.
Oh, it's just kind of a cartoon. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's porny. It looked like very Disney at first, and I went, "Oh, this is fine." And then, well, image number 3 will tell you all you need to know. I think there. Let's see. Meet new
Those aren't drones,
coworkers.
though.
Corrupt fairy tales.
It's not what you do with drones.
Let's see. First and foremost, important to know, play the entire first chapter.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any drones in the image.
I love this. This is a negative review. There comes a time in every man's life when he needs to take a look at himself in the mirror and wonder exactly how he reached such a place. I love that. All right, I'm shocked by this. There must be drones, though, right? There must be.
I guess. I don't know. I didn't play it. I'm just reading the reviews.
The video, I'm going through it. There seems to be... Goodness. All right. There's a bomb going off. I don't see any drones. That's crazy. Are you sure this guy played this game? Feels like he's reading something else. This dude. I guess not. All right. Well, that was fascinating. I like that a lot.
Thanks for that, John.
Yeah, that was fun. It was like a return to the old core days when we had little contests here and there.
So what is it? We call it Dear Martheperty?
Yeah, Martheperty.
Martheperty is great.
Kind of hard to
that's
say.
That's what we do.
All right. Nicely done. Let's get to some other news. You want to pay $15 for PvE in Overwatch 2? I got good news for you. You can do that. To add insult to injury, in my opinion, they stopped doing the cool Overwatch PvP or PvE they had planned, and instead now we'll give you kind of watered down PvE content for $15. So enjoy.
I mean, you can pay more than $15 if you want.
Yeah,
you can also pay $40 for it.
Yeah, because then you get what? A bunch of shit. You get a bunch of
Yep, that's right.
free to play shit. It's fine. Look, I get a free to play game's going to have some of this, and I actually assumed that even the good stuff we thought we were going to get, I assumed that was going to cost me money. So I guess this isn't that different. I don't know what it was going to cost.
It makes a lot of sense, but it is. I mean, it's just, it does not look good to go, hey, that thing we promised we were going to give you isn't coming. Hey, here's the makeup for it. Now please give us money for it.
Yeah, it's another weird look, right?
Yep.
They'll probably get it. I mean, I don't know what else they would. Why did my controller just freak out? Let's put that over there. I don't like what that just did. It like jumped off the table almost. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't like it either. It's a bad look. WoW might also be getting some microtransaction-y stuff in the form of their trading post content, which I thought was pretty cool while I was playing. But
yeah, people really, really like the trading post. It is, honestly, it's the thing that got me the closest to giving WoW yet another shot again. Yeah. I was like, I kind of tried Dragonflight, and I was like, just maybe I'm done with this period of my life. And then they announced the trading post, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. The amount of times I wish the trading post had been in there when I played was very high. Mm-hmm. But there's now been data mined piles of currency, the currency you use at the trading post, in various quantities, much like a lowest bonus, best value type form. And it seems like maybe instead of just playing the game to get this currency, you will be able to, in one way or another, pay real money for it.
Yeah. And I don't know who's asking for that, but somebody somewhere is.
Bobby Kotick is asking for that.
Yeah. Character named Kabi Botik has asked for this. And boy, howdy, is he going to get it. So anyway, that seems to be a thing, and no one's happy about it. We also got a first look at Armored Core 6. It's not a ton. I was hoping for more, to be honest, but it's enough for me to I was already convinced I'm going to get this. I love the Armored Core games. I mean, back in those days, Souls-like weren't a thing yet, and these aren't Souls-likes, but, it's From Software. It's like their legacy, for me, at the time, was Armored Core. And now everyone thinks of them as something else. But Armored Core coming back, man. So excited. Fires the Rubicon.
It looks really good. I'm excited for it. It looks very, very cool.
We have a release date on this? It's not this year, is it? Or is it? Oh, no, I'm sorry. August. Jeez, a busy August.
Yeah.
August 25th. I thought it was early next year. Yeah, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. All getting it. And we don't know what the frame rate is. Until it gets
probably, I don't know.
I don't know. They use a lot of environmental tricks to have sparse areas, and I'll bet this is 60 on a console.
It doesn't look like it's trying to be overly technical with its look. It looks like a stylized game.
Yeah, and yeah, there's something about that gives me hope. At least for the current gen, not the old gen. The old gen's probably screwed, but whatever. Steam got a new UI update. It annoyed me, I'll tell you that, because A, it looks old. I don't know what they're thinking. B,
well, I mean, that's what I put in the notes. That's my offering, which is it's certainly not a modern UI, but it's not as old as it was.
Yeah.
It's like instead of going back in time 15 years, you're only going back in time 7.
What annoyed me most about it, though, was not so much the retro look of it, is that they reset all my filters and I didn't expect that. So all my like how I list my games, what groups I have, and all that stuff, all screwed up. I had to go redo it. That may be just a me thing, a one-off thing problem, but I don't know if anyone else saw that. But that screwed up all that stuff. But it's fine.
I didn't ever really play with them all that much.
It looks like 2008. It looks like 2008 Steam. I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, they're trying to make it modern. I really wish, you would think Steam would have a really modern, sleek looking interface. And it's just like you said, it's many years behind.
Yeah, and it was already fine. Like, I'm looking at their web version, it's fine. The new desktop version just doesn't look as good as the current web version. And I don't understand the thinking. I don't know, whatever. It's fine. Not that it's gonna...
I'm happy. I want them to evolve it. I just wanted them to get closer to today.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
That's all. It used to look like Windows 95.
Yeah.
Then they upped it to Windows 98, and we've been living there for a while, and now we've entered the Windows Vista era of Steam.
Yeah, it's not big jumps. And I realize their interface covers a lot. It's not as simple as, Epic's just like, here are big giant postage stamp pictures of the game you bought. Here you go, click it.
To be fair, I hate the Epic store and launcher.
It's got problems the whole other side of this,
Like, I may joke about Steam looking old, but Steam functions really, really well. And maybe some of that is me just being used to it, and you're familiar with it, so you don't notice all the issues with it. But like the amount of times I accidentally launch a game on Epic because I expect to be able to click it and then select like, hey, I want to uninstall it or move it or just see the game details, and it launches the game, or I have to do crazy filters on my store page because they want all the icons to be really big and huge. Like, Epic's got a lot bigger problems. It certainly looks like more modern, but it's got bigger issues than Steam does.
Yeah, for sure.
So
the chat, there's the version of it. I just brought mine up on my desktop. It's just, I don't know, these menus with the underline. I don't know. It just feels old. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Steam update for sure.
Yeah, it's not great. Anyway, whatever. It's still a better service than anybody else has. So what are you going to do?
It's not terrible, just not great. I don't know.
I'm with John. Function over form, right? Like, form matters, but it doesn't matter that much. I mean, big screen mode, still great. Steam Deck's basically big screen mode. No problems there. They didn't redo that. So just run in big screen mode and forget they have this version. It's fine. I kind of wish big screen was just more like I don't know. I could go on for days about interfaces and UXs, but they'll do what they're going to do. Finally, a streamer disguised toast. What? Streamer disguised toast, who purchased two esports teams recently, reports that esports is failing to zero with a rocket pack. Oh, falling to zero with a rocket pack. So what's the deal here?
So sorry about the sentence. I did write that.
There's
to be a bit of
disparity in how the notes are written.
Yeah, that one's a little rough.
Yeah, so I mean,
Awake
I don't
to
know
sleepy.
Disguised Toast is a pretty well-known streamer, but he's not like maybe S tier like your Dr. Mustaches or whatever, but he's pretty well-known. And he bought two esports, like a Valorant team, and then that was going bad, and so he bought a League of Legends team. And well, the Riot was sort of pulling back on stuff, so the LCS has gone on strike.
Yeah.
The players have gone on strike, and he bought sort of before. And he was like, kind of, I guess people, when you have investments like that, you don't really come out and say it's going bad because that's your business, and saying that stuff has like a cascading effect. But he's a streamer, he kind of lives quasi online, or, sharing a lot of stuff. So he's just kind of candid about esports overall. And he was just saying like he intended to spend $500,000, and his accountant was like, you were now spent $1 million on this. And there's little splotches where he's like, why is there no numbers on this part of the spreadsheet? And the accountant's like, well, that's where we would put the revenue coming in, and there's zero revenue coming in. And, you've kind of heard articles to that effect from other, there's a few other streamers. I think Ludwig and Moist Critical have a team. And
yeah, I know Charlie Moist Critical has said, like, we do it because we love it. It certainly makes no money.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of that, and because remember, there's a period of time when like Overwatch was asking for a lot of money for investment. There's gonna be a big studio. We're trying to make esports a thing. It seems like, and we've talked about it on the show before, but mainly in the context of the esports that we like that have failed. But it seems like over the past weeks and months, more and more signs point to like the esports era of whatever this online thing we do is, like
Yeah.
Twitch and YouTube and stuff,
Right.
is like drawing to a close. Like it just makes me sad. Like I know Trixler went over to hang out with Caldor in Germany, and they're doing a HOTS tournament, for fun. There's still going to be community driven stuff, but it looks like a investment in a team. Like if you want to get into esports or be a competitor, looks like that era is like kind of on the way out. And certainly from the company side of things, and then so it just makes me sad. That's all, and yeah, I find it really bums me out because like competitive gaming is fun. It is fun to watch. Fostering these things are great. I like that kind of stuff. It's breaking my heart. Breaking my heart, Frodo. Or
Well,
no, Fredo.
I think maybe esports just needs a longer esports needs a longer tail to grow and do it on its own organically and not be forced into growing. That's what's been happening lately. It's just being forced to grow, and it's not going to. So let it chill.
I think there's a middle ground there where like they have to invest in it. I think investment's getting withdrawn. I think that's why stuff like Overwatch League wanted outsiders to invest money because it was going to zero. So why not sink someone else with the cost than the game developer, right?
Right,
So,
right.
and maybe it doesn't need the game developer involvement.
I think that's what ruined it.
Yeah, like I think like there has to be an autonomous, like there's a game and it's developed, and then some sort of autonomous league to run these things that has a plan to generate revenue, right? I don't know how exactly that works, but regular sports operate this way. NBA didn't, the NBA didn't make basketball. I don't even know if they make basketballs. Maybe they. And isn't it like?
Oh, is fading so
yeah,
hard.
Bo's fading hard.
Oh my gosh!
Hang on, no, don't worry, guys. I got this.
Does the NBA make a basketball? What do they do?
How
over
did they
there?
start this sport?
Wait a minute,
Manufacturing
what?
basketballs?
No, isn't it like Wilson that makes the basketball?
Well, there's a whole bunch of those, yes, but like the balls themselves. Okay, but the NBA, the closer comparison would be the NBA, NFL, NHL, whatever. Big sports organization. How much do they have to do with the broadcast fandom side of it? Like people going to games, watching
venues
games,
and talent,
venues,
like
talent,
venues.
TV deals, all that stuff. That's the part that would be more analogous. And I don't know if it truly is analogous. I don't know what the differences are. Like, do they have a lot to do with that?
Is, the company's like, well, we don't want to work on this product anymore. It's not profitable. Well, then the league goes away. But like, since there's nobody developing chess or basketball, no one's like, we're gonna stop making basketball rules,
right?
You know what I mean? So like, it's like you can make like League of Legends, let's say, and be like, we release it for you to play however you want. I guess running the servers costs money, so there's an issue with that part of it.
Yeah.
But there also isn't people every other week going, guys, I know you like basketball, super basketball. It's gonna be way better than basketball. It's
they don't drop patches.
Everybody's gonna come here. This is better, and then someone else is going, shut up, super basketball, ultra basketball over here, and that's just basketball. There's like 3 of those for every single sport, and then you've got other people just sitting there cooking for years, going, oh, I know there's super basketball and ultra basketball, but there's super ball and super ultra ball, and we're gonna make it, and we're gonna be the esport. Like it's a different kind of competition. Like sports are kind of an established thing, and they're almost like their own little unique monopolies in a weird sort of way. It's not like there's a bunch of different competing basketball brands that are all trying to get your basketball dollars, but that's how it is in video games. Like it's not just like, well, there's a shooter esport and there's a Dota style esport, and there's competition within each of these, which all have their own segmented audience, which is already a segmented audience from the people who play it. So I think it's always going to have a bit of an identity crisis, and it makes sense why it started to take off was because the people went where they wanted to be. And then all the companies got involved and went, oh, look at all these people here. Let's try and convince all these people to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it has slowly fallen apart and eroded from there because you can try and bring new people in. I'm not trying to say that nobody new ever came into esports, but the people kind of decided that, like, okay, StarCraft is what we watch.
Yeah.
StarCraft, fighting games, like, people were going where they wanted to be. But then everybody had to make their esport game. And there was that period of time where everybody was like, this is going to be the hottest thing. Like, and it felt like that was the E3 pitch for like a couple years where it was like, we're going to do esports. I mean, what was that game where you were like hunting a beast? And then one person played as the beast and everybody else played as the hunters.
Yeah,
they came out swinging like, we're going to be the next biggest esport ever. And just kerplunk, nothing happened.
Yeah. And those are Left 4 Dead people too. It's supposed to be like a big deal.
It was Evolve, I think it was called.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I played that a bit.
And and there was also the Amazon like League of Legends ball. Like it was like fantasy characters, but they played soccer kind of.
Oh, I forgot that even existed.
That was one of their first games, and they're like, "It's gonna be a big esport." And I don't know. I think they just shuttered it. I don't even think it launched.
Didn't even make an announcement about shuttering it. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean it's true, but you know, it's.
I think part of the problem is this is baseball is hundreds of years old, and it will always be around. It's got a permanence to it. So does basketball. So does football. So does soccer. So do all these sports. They have a certain amount of permanence. Video games change, evolve, and stuff way too fast. So if you get 10 years out of an esport, you're lucky. And that's like one company who pulls it off and everyone else tries and then fails. I just don't think it's just not an out. They're just not the same.
I'm just not seeing a lot of new stuff on the horizon now anymore. You know, there's Stormgate, which I don't know if it's going to reach that pinnacle.
The previews are real good on that, but I'm the same. I'm like, well, are they aiming for esports success or is Stormgate aiming for just, hey, here's a really great RTS?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to know, but they have the content creators who would be into StarCraft do, React videos and stuff too. But it's too early to tell, I think.
Yeah.
But I think they are trying to fill the StarCraft void.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to go back to being player driven. Like we are at a spot where corporate hands, desire for corporate money, a bunch of people getting in on investments and stuff like that, overinflated something beyond what it could sustain. Bubble has burst. It's coming down. But I think what's going to happen is it's going to settle. There is still going to be a demand for this, and people are once again going to flock where they want to watch this content organically, whether that is Stormgate or, going back to old favorites, who knows. But at a certain point, people are going to have a demand for it again, because like Bo's sad because he wants to watch it. That desire didn't go away just because of bad management. And so I think it could have a resurgence, but I think the lesson that needs to be taken away from this is when everybody jumps in and tries to get a piece of that pie isn't big enough to sustain the goals that they're going for.
Right. You can't have the way real sports works. You can have expansion teams. And so at the point where some states have 3 or 4 teams, some cities have 2 or 3 or 4 teams, and the rest of the country can get a team. We have an NBA team here. Colorado's got NFL, NBA, and NHL. Like your ability to expand is so much more limited with the game side of it, because expansion is how long does that game developer want to support this one game, and what day do you put a flag down and go, well, now we're on to the next one. I guess we just let this squander and die. Like it's effed. It's kind of effed as a model of money making, right? Like it's just not the same. Everyone wants it to be the same because the games themselves, the matches and the commentary are like, woo, full of energy. Everybody's stoked. Listen to that guy do play-by-play. Yeah, man, this is like sports. But then the long tail is not there. It's just not there, man. Sad, sad day for esports.
Yeah. Anyways, I thought it was of note just to.
Yes, you did. It's my favorite sentence you've ever written. No capital letters. A couple of words don't exist in the English language. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. You just been playing.
I was quite busy. I'm quite tired. I wanted to contribute something to the notes because I've been such a slacker the past few weeks.
Disagree. You brought
There
more
you go.
content with your run to 100 than we could have ever dreamed. So
Bo's notes usually don't have any capitalization, just for the record. And it's funny you mentioned it because my wife came in and caught me fixing Bo's notes once. She goes, "Do you go through and change Bo's notes to have proper capitalization and stuff?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says, "Has Bo ever commented on it?" I said, "No." She says, "Does he
Yeah.
know you do this?" I said, "I don't know."
It's
I
the first,
said,
it's
"I'm-
the first
I'm
time.
not
It's
sure."
the first time hearing about it or
Wow.
noticing it. Actually,
that's great. I love
I
it.
didn't realize you did that.
Well,
That's
you know,
funny.
I know that some people do it to me all the time because I am always screwing up. Whatever. You're just in there writing thoughts. You're not, we're not supposed to edit in real time, are we? Are we?
Yeah, I got over my need to.
It's
write
my
things
thing.
properly.
It's
It's a John
my hang up. It's not a flaw with Bo. It's not a flaw with you. It's a flaw with me.
Yeah, it's a John thing.
I know how to do it. I just get lazy because I think if I'm writing on the internet, I got to write lazier.
Yeah, that's the rule. Nobody's serious about this internet thing we're doing. All right, we're going to do a mashup. It's going to close us out today, and it's going to be amazing. This is from Jamie. Jamie's been killing it. He said "Full Throated" was the line, and the contest was, who did it? Well, 58% of you think I did. 27% say Bo, and 15% say John. I have no idea. I think I voted for Bo. I really don't know.
I'm gonna metagame this and say Scott because I don't think he would do both 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So this is my metagame. I don't think I said it. It sounds like a Bo thing, but I don't think he'd do 3 weeks in a row, Bo. So I'm gonna say it's a Scott.
Oh, look at you. This is
Scott went full throated.
the real esport is what John just did. This is amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the metagame. It's the metagame.
Well, let's find out as I hit play on this week's Full Throated mashup. I'm sorry, but I could not find any notable person or public figure named Bo Schwartz in my
Oh,
database.
Fuck you, ChatGPT.
Jack Black dressed up as Bowser and then had a wardrobe malfunction because he showed his wiener by accident.
Wait, what?
So
How you like
Baby
that?
Bowser confirmed for the movie.
Yep.
I like the Christmas
So good.
event they do on that same map where you
Yeah.
have to murder the wet bandits from Home Alone.
This is in the Home Alone video game?
No,
the
this
home-
isn't Hitman.
Why am I thinking about Home Alone?
because he
Because
just
they
told you.
named the criminals after the wet bandits.
The wet bandits. What are wet bandits?
Don't wait. Oh my gosh, Mo.
There's a hairy pile of gonads right there.
Right there, big
You
pile.
think he did it on purpose or no?
I don't know. I hope not.
They're all pretending like nothing happened.
Well, I don't know if they saw it. They may have been like,
How can you not see a gonad? Come on now.
"How can you not see a gonad?"
He was literally undulating with his hips, pushing them out.
In Home Alone, you know Joe Pesci's character and what was the other guy's name?
oh, it just left me.
Voice from the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're called the
And
Wet
they
Bandits.
called themselves the Wet Bandits,
Right.
Because they would leave the water running in the
Daniel
houses
Stern.
after-
Daniel Stern.
Daniel
Sorry.
Stern.
Oh,
That's
it's
it.
like a movie in lore. Okay. I thought it was like a thing, like a wet bandit. I was like, I don't know. I find it hard to believe no one spotted the ball sack.
Well, someone did because they blurred it. It's like a
You know,
movie
join the
where
draft.
you know it's just stuff showed like that truck is in the Lord of
Excuse
the
me,
Rings.
Jack. We can see the Mushroom Kingdom.
I always get the name mixed up with that fish guy who does it with the lady. The Shape of Water. Shape of Water? Water Shape. Whatever it is.
I don't know. I saw that movie. She did have sex with that.
She
bitch.
totally had fishman sex. Moving on. That was a
They
bad
have
way.
sex in the water?
Well, it's the only place.
Yeah, they fill up a room
Yeah.
in a house, and have sex in the room in the house.
Yeah.
Isn't that like adjacent to shitting in the lake? Like, wouldn't you want to not have sex in the water? 'Cause
Look at the butthole these things have. Look at that. It's like a.
Oh yeah, they've got holes.
I didn't know that.
Hey, they got two poop holes. There's one hole above the other one.
That's the. I think they're all female, and that's a J hole.
I've done some anal. I've done some anal.
Well, Richard
Man,
Grant
that's
is
where
another
you
one.
draw the line. You're like, I'll shit in the lake, but you have sex in there?
No,
I'm
but
out.
this movie won like an Academy Award. Meanwhile, I'm getting raked over the coals every day on Twitter. But you know, but yeah,
see-
sure, there's like
but
a little
see,
bit of jizz and leftovers in the water, and now it's all good. Academy Award.
But
for
see, you actually shat in a lake. They've never really had sex in a house.
Yeah, but that fish pooped in his lake, right? Like, where else is he going?
It's a game called Refractory. Now, or sorry, Refactory, not Refractory. That's a different thing.
I was gonna say I can play that game without any mobile.
Yeah. Speaking of speedrunners, he's ready to rock.
Yeah.
But this,
I only play it about once a day.
Yeah,
There's
only
an
once a day.
energy mechanic, but
Sure.
it's not in your face about it.
yeah, I hope it's not in my face. Anyway, the point is,
I
Refactory.
don't know what you guys are joking about.
Oh, have you heard of the refractory period, Bo?
No idea.
Oh,
It's a refractory period.
period. Here's what it is in a very technical way. The refractory period is the span of time after having an orgasm during which a person is not sexually responsive. So that's
It's
it.
like a concussion for your penis.
Yeah, and technically the lady. Everyone always thinks it's dudes, but ladies can have it too. They're like,
Okay, it's like a concussion for your penis or
your Virginia.
clitoris.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Or that.
I don't think ladies have a Virginia, but clitoris, maybe labia, vulva, one of those things is
Sure.
not there.
Okay, those are great. I think I could easily recommend this at 19, like full-throated recommendation.
Damn it, there it is.
Oh,
Yeah, my entire throat, not just a little piece of it. I reserve my throat.
Is that a new ranking system? I give the half recommendation.
Yeah, how much of my throat are you willing to take at the moment?
All right.
So the votes were correct. I thought it was Bo. And I don't know why. I thought that. That was a good
Well,
one,
I
though.
mean, I know why, because like, how dirty and filthy am I? Oh my god!
I know, right? And I don't remember talking about lady in the water, fish in the water thing. I don't
Yeah, I
remember that.
forgot
I
about
don't
that
remember
entire
that conversation either.
at
Most
all.
of these I forget.
Yeah.
I think at first when we first started doing, I was remembering, but
Yeah.
he's unearthing, I think, stuff that's much older.
I do remember you hitting a wall on the wet bandits. I remember that being
Yeah, I do
thing.
remember that conversation. I don't
forgot
remember
they were
you
called-
forgetting what refractory period
Right.
was. That was an exciting rediscovery for me. That you had no idea what that was.
I don't think
Yeah.
I ever heard of a refractory period.
Really? That was news to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was new. I learned that day.
You don't have one. You just keep going. You're ready
It's
for
okay.
the next one. Yeah.
Well, I guess I have one. I just called it. I'm tired.
A timeout.
I'm tired. I just called it. I'm
I
tired.
just need a few minutes and we'll go again. All right. I need some Chinese food. We'll be good to go.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Ew, gross. All right, that is going to do it for today's show. But I would remind
It's
you all,
gross. It's, just a bit
it's
of
not really
food.
gross. Sex is a thing. It's real. It's a natural thing to do.
How we're all here.
Now, yeah, but that's also a great transition for me to tell people that we need your support over at patreon.com/core show. Like these new people: Fun Bobby, Semsi, Jared Travis, David Tripp, John Kelly. Ooh, I wonder if that's from NYPD Blue. Seb and Thomas Lambert, all brand new patrons who have signed up this week and decided that this is the show they would like to back. Would you like to back it? Would you like no commercials ever, art in the mail, pre-show content every week, monthly benefits like monthly host shows, that sort of thing? Well, good news, you can do it. Whose turn is it this month? Is it mine?
Well,
John-
it was mine. I already did it. Though.
You did yours, but you didn't.
That's my turn.
Is it your turn? I can't remember.
I went first. Scott, you went second, I think.
So it'll
and
be
then
Bo's
John.
turn in July.
Oh, because John already did June.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
This is correct. What John has said, we should write this down somewhere, though, so we remember the time. Anyway.
Put it in the show notes for now.
Yeah, it'll all work out. Anyway, so that's the deal. These people are here to support us. Will you be? Send your love to us at patreon.com/core show, and we would really appreciate it. You can find everything at frogpants.com/core. And a reminder, we talk a lot about how Core Daily goes up every day on YouTube. You can find that at frogpants.tv if you want to watch the video version. But if you're looking for an audio feed, it's a separate feed. And I didn't mush it in with the other one because I didn't want to force people to get spammed. If you want it, you know you want it, and you go get it. If you don't want it, I don't want to force it on you. So that separate feed is available on the site, frogpants.com/core, and should start popping in directories around, Spotify and Apple and all that eventually. But right now, you just kind of, manually put it in there. So if you want the audio version, it's there for you. Video's linked there as well. That's frogpants.com/core. I think that's it. Grandma, take it away with your telling us what we played business, will you please?
All right. Well, you probably assumed Diablo 4, so you probably assumed correct because all three of them played that video game. Mostly Bo, though. Scott played Super Mega Baseball 4. He also played 10 90s RPGs, which, you know, he named like 3 of them. So the others remain a mystery. But a couple that he wrote down so I can remember is Dragon Quest, looks like 2, think it's 11.
It's 11.
Your Roman numerals then are II for 11, I see. Hold on, let me do a test live. Is it just a 1 and I'm reading it poorly, or did you write II? Nope, that's what a 1 looks like.
Yep, if they're both 1s, it's 11. I also thought you were talking about 14 earlier. You weren't. You were talking about 16. I hate Roman numerals. All right, continue.
So just to be clear, the way you do a Roman numeral 11 is II.
No,
That's 2.
Oh, shit. You're right. What was I doing?
That's what I'm asking, Scott, because it's the funniest thing in the world to me.
I don't know what I was thinking. That's supposed to be 11.
It must have been 2.
Dragon Quest II for Dragon Quest 11.
Shit. Don't ask me. I don't know. See, if I'd have just done that that would have done it, right? You would have.
That would have done it.
Gosh dang it. I hate Roman numerals. Screw
he
the
also
Romans.
played Yakuza Like a Dragon and Cassette Beast. That's the Pokemon one.
Yeah.
And John, he installed Garlic on something. Go back and listen. It's fun. And he's playing WWE 2K23, and there's a free pay-per-view next week. And he's going to be playing fun. His section was really about things he might do one day. And Bo played Diablo 4.
Yeah. We got that one. All right. That's going to do it for today's show.
We thank our patrons?
Yeah, go ahead. What are you going to say?
Did we thank our new patrons?
Oh, yeah, we did all that.
Yeah. We did. I'm sorry you missed it.
I might have fallen asleep at some point. And
Look,
realized that.
I don't blame you for any of this, and you will never be judged for it. You played a lot of video games, and you're tired, okay? It's fine if you miss a few things. It really is. Just, you know, now that... how's work right now? Do you just walk in there and go, hey, Bo, we need those papers. We need the Penske file. And you're like, oh...
yeah, I'm just I'm kind of just like hiding. I'm like, I'm busy doing. No one's
tracking.
come to my desk too much. So
okay, good.
I'm just like,
that's good.
I'm like, you know, just close my eyes, not sleeping, just relaxing them.
Sounds like
emails.
It actually kind of sounds nice, you know. I'm sure it isn't, but
Yeah.
it sounds nice.
We've got to let Bo go to sleep.
Yeah,
Scott.
he's going to go
not
soon.
gonna
He's
make
going to
it.
fall apart if we don't. So we're going to go now. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time for more. And check out Core Daily each and every day. We'll see you then.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Done.